Hey guys, we are live. Let's show the cool
We all
intro
go a little
back
mad
up.
sometimes.
All right, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Hangout live stream. Guess what? We got a very special guest today, Miss Lisa Loves, all the way from Ireland.
Woohoo!
One of the
Greetings.
Yes,
OGs of the Horror Hangout, way back in the
yes,
day, right, Monty?
the Irish Queen of Horror has made her return.
He's too kind. He's too kind.
It's true.
Even back to remember the Google Hangout we first called.
Yeah,
Oh God. My technology head is not very good. I'm just about pleased I got on here.
And as always, we got Jen, but not Christian, from Jen's Reviews from the Grave.
You people are stuck with me. I'm sorry.
Flying solo today. And we got the Horror Miser Monty G in the house.
yes. Yeah, DeRay, we got to get you on here, DeRay. Thanks for stopping by, too, by the way.
The ray is awesome.
Hey, Strange
Oh,
Monkey
yes.
Reviews. What's going on, man?
Hey, monkey.
So, Strange Monkey?
From year 3 from the grave, remember? Strange
Mhm.
Monkey.
Oh, yeah, that was years ago as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Dear me. I just feel more and
Yeah.
more old as
You're
time
not
goes on.
You're not old.
Oh
You're
God,
not old.
I'm old.
No, see, trust me, I'll be
Oh,
60
please.
next year. That's old.
I look at people and I think, they're about 38 and they're like 25. And it's like, oh my God, how old am I getting? No, it's not good.
No, see,
No.
you guys make me feel old because, like I said, I'll be 60 next year.
No, but yeah, Monty, genetics, good genetics. You
Thank
don't
you. Yeah.
age. Seen your young pictures. You don't age.
It's called good, clean living.
I'm
Yeah.
screwed then.
I'm in a lot of trouble then, Monty.
Uh-oh.
It's funny, I work in the public a lot. And then I see people my age, and I'm like, oh, I look better than this guy, you know? And then they'll see someone that looks 10
Really
times
not.
better than me, you know?
Oh
Oh.
no! See,
Or
I can
you see
imagine
someone
going.
you went to school with that you haven't seen in like 20 years. There's giving my age away. It's worse than that. And it's like, oh my God, they look like a pensioner. And then you think, do I look like that to other people? It's awful. No.
No, just imagine because on my high school is having their class reunion. I think it's our 40th. I'm not mistaken. I forget how long it's. Yeah, 40th. I think it is. I can just imagine half the people what they looked like by the time we graduated back in '82 and how they look now.
No. Stay away like the
1980,
plague from those things.
yeah.
Excuse me.
All right, guys. Well, we are talking about some of our favorite horror-based TV shows today, past and present. And we're going to start with a new one that hasn't come out yet that everyone's talking about, you know, and that is the Crystal Lake TV series. Yes, we're finally going to get something based on the Friday the 13th franchise, and this is going to be like supposedly a prequel type series, I guess. Not quite sure what they're going to do with it, but
What's up, Jason?
be interesting to discuss. What are your thoughts on that? Let's start with Lisa Loves.
I had to read about this today because I didn't know a lot about it. All I'd heard was there was a massive court case and they couldn't, I believe they can't refer to adult Jason. They can't use the mask. They can't use the name. And they're saying it's going to be prequels, maybe about the mum. I don't know what they're going to do. How are they going to? I don't know. I'm a bit confused, but I'm interested to see what they do. But I don't know. What are they going to do? Have any of you any ideas what avenue they're taking it from?
See, now I've heard that they can, like, they did work it out where because they did work it out where they can use the math possibly and some of the other things. That's what I read in an article, but maybe I'm misinformed. But that's what I've heard. But even if we couldn't do that, I think it would be very interesting to find out Pamela's backstory and what's up with the family and Jason's father and stuff. I think there is a lot we do, even if we don't get to use. Now, I've heard misinformation. Like, I've heard some people say we are going to use it, some people say we aren't. But even if we can't use that avenue, I still think that going into the past and just finding out a backstory. But some people don't want a backstory. I'm always interested in someone's backstory.
Yeah,
some people
me
may
too.
not be. Me too.
I've heard both as well. They said that there were 2 different producers on it, and one had certain rights and another had different rights, so they may be able to use the mask.
Yeah.
They're not. I've read that as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think the power of money has made them, okay, we'll work with each other, and it's A24 that is going to be behind it as well. Interesting thing.
That's exciting.
I think that's going to be
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how hey, what's up, Kelly? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play in this. I think it's going to be fascinating because there's a lot of in-depth stories that they can do. Speaking of Pamela's backstory, we never knew anything about Jason's father, who Jason's father really is. How did Pamela get associated with Camp Crystal Lake? What was Jason like after his birth, and how did he become? Obviously something must have happened. Was he really deformed? Was he really teased by the other campers? And what eventually will lead to him drowning in the lake and eventually Pamela snapping. Yeah, so there's lots of ways they can go into this. So I'm pretty interested to see how they're going to play Crystal. I think it was called Crystal Lake Memories.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
From what I read, from what I read, when they asked, I read an article where they talked to the person making it. They said they can use all eras of Jason, all the way up to like Jason X and stuff.
That's what I've heard.
So I don't think they can use the actual like hockey mask, maybe, but they can use like all eras of Jason.
Right. If they can,
from what I read,
think it would be interesting. I was reading about the guy, and he said if it's successful and they do like future seasons, he's going to try and take it everywhere. He says he's going to try and put space in it. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I love prequels. I know a lot of people don't want to know. It's like a bit of a mystery behind the character, but I'm interested. I'm just really a bit confused with what they're going to do with it, but I'll be there to watch it for sure.
Yep. Well, it's interesting because out of the holy trinity between Freddy, Jason, and Michael, we really don't know that much about Jason's childhood, other than some brief snippets. Between Friday the 13th, the beginning, and obviously the remake, they touched on some of his, but we really don't have a concrete backstory as opposed with Michael and Freddy. So I think there's a lot of things they can explore with this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do.
What I would be interested too is because we haven't seen too much of it on television. It's always been implied that Jason might have been a bit slow, and that would be an interesting avenue to see what his life was like and how he was treated, not only by outsiders other campers and stuff, but by Pamela and stuff. And maybe one of the reasons she snapped was maybe she wasn't really coped well to deal with a child like that, and maybe guilt is one of the reasons why she snapped. Guilt can make you do a lot. There's a lot of interesting avenues we could explore, and we could go kind of like the Chucky series. That's one thing I was saying. It's a parallel to the Chucky series. It could be because while we do go really fantastical with the Chucky series, there are these really little insights of where it's a little deeper than you'd think a voodoo doll would be. And I think we could do the same with Jason. We could have our fun, but we could still get some interesting issues across and explore some interesting avenues, possibly, especially with A24 behind it.
Oh yeah,
that's exciting. I was really pleased to hear that.
Mm-hmm. A real serious.
I want to see the return. I want to see the return of Sackhead, baby.
Yeah, that's the point. They might be able to do that.
The pickaxe and everything.
A serious in-depth look into the childhood of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I would be there for that. I would kind of be interested to see what we do. We can still have fun. I'm not saying it has to be super serious, but I think we could get some messages and insights across that might be fun and open up some dialogue too. So
Cool. Yep.
For sure. I would like to see, because they explore things like this a little bit in some of the fan movies. Like I noticed in one of the fan movies they introduce in his father Elias or whatever his name is, because they were supposed to originally have him in part 6, I guess. So yeah, I'd like to see what's going on with the father and everything, how he fit into things.
Was he a deadbeat dad, or did Pamela keep him away? There could be a lot. It could be very soap opera-y too, in a way, if you wanted it to be family drama.
I guess.
Yeah.
But there better be some blood and kills with Friday 13 name attached to it.
That too.
Can't disappoint the fans, Gotta bring it.
It has to be horror. They have to do a horror series with just maybe a little bit of story behind it.
Yeah.
Of course, they already did the anthology series. Remember that back in the day, the Friday 13th series?
I know, yeah.
I never saw that.
You never saw that?
Yeah.
No.
That was pretty interesting.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All
Yeah.
right, okay.
It wasn't that bad. It was like an anthology type.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really an anthology show. It was basically about these two cousins, and they inherited this store from their uncle, but it turned out that he made a deal with the devil and sold Curse Antiques. So they basically sold everything, and then when they realized that the proprietor of the show, Jack Marshak, said, hey, look, we got to get these Curse Antiques back. So they go out and searching for these antiques. In every episode, you see them trying to get it.
Right, that sounds quite cool. Right, yeah.
It lasted for 4 years. I think 4 years.
Yes, right, okay. There's a lot to watch then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on air somewhere. Yeah, because the show never had anything to do with Jason at all. We just named Friday the 13th, the series. It just had his name attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting that I think it's John DeLay who played one of the characters. He actually stars in Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. So that was pretty funny that he was on the series and actually gets to star in the movie.
Kind of a cool connection.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I'm still confused though, as to who actually has the rights. Is it Sean Cunningham? Is it Victor Miller? Or is it still
I think, from what I understand, I think Victor won.
Split, isn't it? One of them has one thing, and one of them has another. I think.
Yeah, I think Victor won from what I understand, Victor won the lawsuit. I think his main thing was that he wanted to get paid all the revenue because basically the whole suit was that he was only hired to be a writer, not as a creator of the show, and that's what he fought. And he supposedly won, so he's supposed to get all this money back over. That was the holdup between Sean and Vincent was, hey, look, you're only a writer, so you don't deserve all the money that we got from Friday the 13th. So that was a holdup. But all I know is that Victor was the one that won winning the suit.
Now, do you guys think this will be it? Like, this is as far as we go as this year's, or do you think eventually we're gonna have movies and stuff?
They could do what they did with Halloween, couldn't they? They could sort of reboot it. Well, people are going, no, don't do that. But they could. I am going to admit it. I liked the last Halloween movie. Shout at me now.
You love Halloween Ends?
I did like it, yeah. But I can understand why a lot of people didn't like it. I think it's because I'm not, the way I love Saw, even though loads of it's crap, I still love it. A lot of people are really invested in Jason. I just like the first movie and kind of like the rest, so I wasn't as massively invested in Jason. Listen to me, Michael Myers. So I didn't have that same feeling that other people did of what they did to him. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's right.
He's
Yeah,
as heavily invested in
TYTD.
the
Yeah,
characters and everything.
yeah, that's what Victor won. So that was the holdup. That's why they couldn't do anything about it, is because he owned the rights to Jason and Pamela Voorhees. So you can actually use Friday the 13th, but you couldn't mention Jason. So
Okay.
that was the holdup.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because that's what he's TYTD is saying. I think his name is Scott, if I'm not remembering his name correctly.
Now, do you guys want to see more movies, or you think they've had enough? You think this is enough? Just get in the
Yeah,
show
I'd
and
be
see what they
interested
do
to
with
see
that.
more. Yeah.
I
It
would like to
depends.
see movies.
Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut anyone off. I just was saying I'd like to see more movies because look at what we've done, like what fan service has done, like with the Never Hike movies. Those were really good. Those were fun, and I don't know if I wonder if they can do as good as the Never Hike movies. But I think if they got in the right hands, it could be fun. And like you guys were saying, we could do something like Halloween. Well, maybe not exactly like Halloween, but in the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah, we could have like a trilogy, couldn't we? A new trilogy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be
Re-
awesome.
Little series.
Yeah.
They can do something. I would say probably up until maybe up to 7, or maybe even up to 6, and then ignore the rest of the sequels, and then just start it off from there. That's something that they can do. I don't know what movie studio, who's going to do what, or who's going to write who, or how they're going to play it off. They could start it off from the 2009 remake and start it off there.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That depends upon what movie
actually
studio is
like-
going, what movie studio is going to do, and where they're going to go from.
It'd be cool to see Corey
But it's
Feldman
like
come back.
so
as
much
well.
time has passed now. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think it could be fun.
I
I
am
think there'd
interested.
definitely be an audience that would be there for it. Like with the Halloween, I think there'd be people that would definitely go want to check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of
I
the
knew,
biggest
I knew Jason. I knew Jason was going to say that.
horror franchises.
I said that on purpose because I know Jason loves Friday the 13th. Jason goes to Manhattan.
Oh, God.
So does
no.
Christian.
A
Because
masterpiece.
I know, yeah, because Jason and Joe, they all do this positive spin on certain horror movies.
Positive spin.
And a positive spin, and then that's one of the movies they talked about. You know.
Not a fan, Monty.
I've never heard those two words. I've never heard those two words in the same sentence before. Part 8 and masterpiece.
Now, Monty, let's be fair. We like Final Nightmare, so I mean, we like.
Hey, I
Final
know. Hey,
Nightmare.
look, just as much as Christian will defend Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, I'll defend Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare.
I'm with you. I like it too. I think you and me are the only two.
I defend Halloween 5. That's my.
I like Halloween 5.
I can never work out which one's which.
That
I'm
one too.
terrible. My memory's shocking. Is that the one with Trick or Treat Mother in it? Is it that one? That was
No,
Halloween.
No, that's Resurrection.
No, that's
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
That's Resurrection. Yes.
This is the one with Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris,
My
They
memory's
kill
just shocking.
Rachel.
I tend to like the
Yeah,
first
they kill
few of these series, and then it gets like progressively more silly the further it goes on. And my mind just doesn't allow me to like remember. I don't remember most of the later
Wow,
one. I know he went to space, and I remember a really like impressive kill in the space one, but that's all I remember about that whole movie. That's awful.
Oh yes, what was it, liquid nitrogen or whatever?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Smashes her face and that is awesome.
Trace Bucket said there's no defending Resurrection.
No, there isn't. There isn't.
Going back to the Friday the 13th movies. I think it'd be interesting, like the Final Girls, kind of like what do did with the One Fan film. Bring back all the Final Girls that are still alive, and maybe make a story with that. That could be kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It could
I
be
would love
fun,
that. Hey, why
especially
not bring
Tina.
back
I would be here.
Alice and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. Me, it'd be part 7 Tina, where her psychic ability. That would be the one I'd be interested in seeing again.
Yeah, like some of the ones that survive, like Ginny survives.
Yep. Yeah. And maybe bring in Corey Feldman, or is everyone against the Feld dog? Do we not want the Feld dog to come in this, either the TV show or the movies?
He's always
I don't
interesting
know.
to watch. The guy's a bit unhinged sometimes, but he's really interesting to watch.
I agree with you.
I'd be up for that all day long.
He was in the 13 fanboy.
Yeah. He was in 13 Fanboy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, thank you.
He's just so bizarre, though, the way he like tries to be a singer and stuff, and he's trying to be like Michael Jackson. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Oh yeah, Kelly absolutely adores Corey Feldman. I remember Shannon paid for. She got a video message. Was it her birthday? Was it your birthday, Kelly? She got a message. Corey Feldman recorded a message and sent it to Kelly. It was awesome. She's a massive fan.
Well, that's great.
I mean, when you think about it, look at all the huge movies he was in back in the 80s,
Yeah, he's a good actor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not so sure about the Michael Jackson impersonation, but he's interesting. I like watching him.
I do too.
He's a character.
Yeah, you're right, Jason. Some people actually do agree that they like Resurrection better than Halloween Ends.
Oh, Halloween Ends was not popular, was
I
it?
won't go that far.
It's so strange because people are so polar up. I haven't heard anyone say, well, it was all right. It's either, oh, that was absolutely fucking awful, or I really enjoyed that. And I'm in the other end of the spectrum with very few people, I have to admit, but I like it.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle with it. Right in the middle.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was, because I understand why Danny and David did what they did and Halloween Ends and how they wanted to portray it, and they didn't want to try to do another Laurie versus Michael battle like they saw in H2O. They decided to go a different route, and obviously, just like I said when we talked about it, that people fell for the marketing gag.
Yeah,
because I knew for a fact that it was not going to be this ultimate battle that they were all advertising the film for. It was just a marketing trick.
Do you not think it could have done with another half hour, or were you just glad when it ended? I wanted a little bit more. I thought the end finished too fast. The last big scene.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I like this whole movie. Yeah. I love the pace of the first 3/4. It was trotting along quite slowly, and then everything was over. And I was like, give me another half hour, extend this out a bit. But I enjoyed it. I know that's not the popular consensus, but
but that's interesting to hear. I like to hear people's real thoughts on movies, so it's nice to hear something a little different from a lot of other people's.
But I like Saw. What do I know? Oh dear, you like what you like
more, Michael. Damn it!
Yeah, me.
And yeah, I wasn't too happy about the way he was used.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I would just last thoughts on that for me. I really am excited to see more of Pamela Voorhees because I love her character. I'm one of the few people where the original Friday 13th is my favorite one, because I love her character. I thought she was great, and I'm definitely interested in seeing more of her.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they'll maybe take a kind of a Bates Motel sort of approach of it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That could
raising
work,
mother, sort of mother-son relationship, I think we'll concentrate on quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they'll go on a little killing spree together or something.
Mm.
Could be interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, guys. Next up, let's talk about what are some of your favorite new or recent horror-based television series? Jen?
Ooh, me. Well, there is one show, and I'm sure you and Monty are so sick of me because I've mentioned it to you guys a few times, and I'm sure, and I know Marty is sick of me talking about this, but oh my God, guys, get on the ball with Interview with the Vampire. Oh my God, it is so good. I love this show. Me and Christian, well, I'll be honest with you guys, like me and Christian just watched one episode, and we did not have our hopes too high, and like halfway through the episode, we were just like enthralled, and it became our Sunday ritual. We were hooked on this show. And we are like so pissed because we don't get any more till next October. But oh my God, it is so good. Now it is very, very homoerotic, but it makes it even better. Oh my God, it's such a good show, guys. Oh my God, I love it. It's from the book. It's different from the book. They do make some changes, but I think, but it's still very much in the spirit of the actual book. And I love our Lestat, and I love our Louis. I mean, it's a love story. There is a scene, guys. I have to talk about this. There's a scene where they're in a spat, right? And
See you, Jason.
And they have, and he comes. Bye, Jason. And they throw a coffin. They're in a lover's spat, so they throw a coffin off the balcony in the French Quarter. And it's like how some women would throw clothes out of the thing, and it's just so cool. And he's begging Claudia to like let Louis talk to him for a minute. Lestat's begging on bended knees, and the actor that plays Lestat is so good. And oh my God, it's so good, guys. You have to see it. I love it.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
I don't have cable, so I can't watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw the first episode of it, and because I know,
Sean.
yeah, there's other ways you can watch it if you don't have cable. But yeah, I saw the first episode, and because I remember, because in the book, Anne Rice never specifies is that they were actually lovers, and because in the movie we don't see them as lovers, as opposed. And in this one, they are actual lovers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
They are actual
lovers.
They are actual lovers. And I know some people, I don't mean to cut you off, Monty. I know some people don't like that. But in the book, even though it wasn't stated, it was kind of implied. And the movie, it was the 90s, and they couldn't, the little bit that they got away with.
It was hinted
but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all assumed, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. This does not leave any room in the imagination, but it's a beautiful
they don't.
story. It's a beautiful, like I'm here for it. What did you think of it, Monty? Am I like blowing it up too much? Because that's a bad choice of words, but you know what I mean.
No, like I said, I only seen one episode of. Yeah, I only seen one episode of it because I haven't gotten a chance to, because with the 31 Days of Horror, I was too busy trying to get everything else done. But yeah, I did like the direction they were going with. They kind of stuck more with the source material, like in the first episode. Because like in the movie, it really don't explore much of Louis' backstory as opposed to the reason why he became despondent because his brother committed suicide. We don't see that in the movie, but we see that in the first episode of the show. And I also think in this one, I think Claudia is older as opposed to in the book and the movie. I think she's older in this series.
She is older, and there's a reason. I won't spoil it for you, but there's something that happens, and you'll go, okay, that's why they made her older. There's something that happens to her character that if they'd had a younger actress playing it, it would have been a lot of problems. So that's why they had to go with an older actress.
Oh, okay.
So. And it works in the story. Marty, that is one of his, like he said he enjoyed the show too, but he said that was one of his things. He doesn't particularly like the character of Claudia. And like she takes a little time to get used to, but once we get into the show, it gets better. And she's really good in it. So the age thing is going to throw people. I think if that is one people's complaint, that the age thing, because in the book and in the original movie, she's a little younger, but they have to, I think, for one of the plot devices in the show. But it's really good. See it, guys. See it.
I shall check that out 100%.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sorry, I did not see the new season of Dexter. From what I heard, they sort of make up for the terrible series finale of Dexter.
That's what I.
It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite TV shows,
Yeah.
and how they left it the last season was it was one of the worst. Game of Thrones is the only ending that's worse than the last one of Dexter. But I love the new season, but I'm on a Facebook fan group for Dexter, and I'd say about 3/4 of the people were really annoyed. They didn't like it. I loved it. I liked how it ended. I thought it all made sense, and like I say, it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So,
Because I'm not going to spoil anything, but I kind of heard what happens at the end of the episode right there. I kind of felt it, so that kind of is a nice way for the show to end.
Yeah,
and for Dexter's character,
again, I love the ending. I thought it made up completely for what they gave us last time around.
Yeah, I actually love how they use Jennifer Carpenter in the series.
Yes, yes.
I won't say how, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, she had to be in it, didn't she? She's such an
of course, you can't have Dexter without her.
Exactly.
There is one other show that I want to bring up because I haven't heard anyone talk about it. Now, this one is kind of more crime thriller, but it does involve a serial killer, so I think it counts. There is a show on Hulu called The Patient with Steve Carell, and it is another show that people are sleeping on.
Oh, yes, I watched that.
Oh, did you like it, Sean?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I did too. And Steve Carell is the therapist I think we all want, and it's about a guy who's a serial killer and he abducts a therapist to try to work through his problems. It's a little bit reminiscent of The Sopranos, but it goes a little bit more in the horror territory. It's really good, and Steve Carell is really like the most compassionate therapist. We all want this guy as our therapist.
I love Steve Carell.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm adding both of those to my list.
Cool.
It's so good to see him in something so different,
Yeah.
As a really heavy, dramatic thriller,
Yeah,
Such
I thought
a good actor,
really
so versatile,
He's
Yeah,
really good in
I thought the premise was pretty interesting that a serial killer decides to kidnap and lock up a therapist to help him stop being a serial killer.
Oh, so right,
I know
awesome.
he's
I
trying to
haven't heard
convince
of
him
this
what
one.
you're doing is wrong, you gotta stop.
And
Awesome.
the actor playing the serial killer, I can't remember his name, but he is such a good actor. He is so good in it.
Yeah.
I love the line where he goes, "I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna fuck his head. I'm just gonna kill him." I love that line, George. That was so funny.
Is it called The Patient or Patient?
It's called The Patient.
I found it.
And then he's got his mom living upstairs, and
Yes.
she gets involved, but she kind of turns a blind eye to everything. We know she's really nice, but she's like protecting him at the same time.
Oh,
It's a
don't-
hard.
The 40-year-old surgeon. I thought that's a good one.
It is.
Have you guys seen Let the Right One In? The series on
Oh,
We need
Jesus,
to.
I haven't heard of any of this. This is awful. I feel like right on the rack. I didn't even know there was a series of that either.
Yeah, they decided to make a
Good.
new series based upon I think it's a Swedish horror movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
it's a little bit different from that movie and the American remake. It has basically the same characters, but it's a little bit different. There is obviously you have the girl, but she's a little older in this one as opposed to in both the movies. We still have the younger boy character, although he's African American this one as opposed to the other one. But they've added a little bit more mythos in this one right here. We have the girl, because I have only seen the first 3 episodes of the show, and it looks like we have more vampires as opposed to just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Like most of it's the same, except there's even more to it because they find that
more
there's another vampire out there,
Yeah, there are actually more vampires because we have this side subplot where this pharmaceutical guy, his son is a vampire, and he eventually dies, and he gets his son's sister to come up here to try to cure him of his vampirism. And then we find out that for some reason he also had a relationship with the girl vampire, probably before she became a vampire.
Okay.
A vampire.
cool.
But like I said, I've only seen the first 3 episodes on it so far. I haven't seen the rest of the show. But it's pretty interesting. I actually enjoyed it. I like how they're exploring this, and then we find out that there's some type of drug that somebody's using that's turning people into semi-like vampires.
Oh my goodness, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a lot of TV to watch, clearly.
Mhm.
That's 3 series
Really,
I've written
really
down.
good. I really enjoy it.
Cool.
I'm definitely gonna have to
And
check it out.
It's
It's one
really
new
well
for-
made, you know.
It's a Showtime show, right, guys?
Yeah, it's a Showtime show. Yeah, Showtime.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How about you, Lisa? What's something you've seen recently?
Anything that Mike Flanagan does on TV, I absolutely adore. I know the Midnight Club's the last one, but I know it's not really horror, I suppose. It's marketed as horror, but it isn't. But I loved it. Midnight Mass that I did just before it. Absolutely
Loved it.
fun. I love Haunting of Hill House. Not so keen on Bly Manor. Didn't think it was as good. But honestly, The Haunting of Hill House is one of the only movies that's properly scared me in like years. Have you seen it?
I didn't see that one. I saw the second one. I never saw the first one. I never saw
Bly
Hill
Manor's
House.
not very good.
You didn't like a Blind House?
I liked it, but The Haunting of Hill House was so good. I expected more from it, I think. But there's a scene in that where someone's hiding under a bed. Scared the bejesus out of me. If you've seen it, you might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I love Mike Flanagan's stuff. Absolutely. He's coming out with so much strong, one after the other. So I'm really invested in what he's going to do next.
Midnight Mass was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It
love
was.
Midnight Mass, yes.
I have seen the Midnight Club. I do enjoy that.
I liked it. It's probably suitable for like younger people. Like my son could even watch that.
Yeah.
But I still loved it. I thought the characters were so well written, and that always pulls me in when you like flesh out your characters. So yeah, I think that's the last series I've watched I can think of. I've watched loads of like thrillers and stuff, but not very much. I obviously have to get on all these horrors. I haven't seen half the ones you're talking about.
Yeah. Get on the ball.
Indeed.
Gay vampires,
Well, see-
Lisa. You'll love
Yes.
me. You'll thank me in the morning.
Yes, I shall definitely check. Oh, I've thought of one. Has anybody watched that Cabinet of Curiosities, the Guillermo del Toro one?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I did not see that one. I heard a lot of people didn't like it, though.
There was a couple of stories that were really
I
good.
liked it.
What did you think of the rat one, Sean? Can't remember what it's called. There's one with rats in it and a graveyard.
Yeah.
It's all I loved that
Pretty
one. I
wild.
thought that was awesome. Yeah.
I enjoy it so far. I've only seen the first like 3, 4. I just watched one of them today. They found like going in the
Uh-oh.
direction.
Is that my connection? Or is
No, that's
Sean
Sean's.
freezing up? Right, okay, it's not just me. You're freezing up, Sean. We can't hear you. You're not moving.
Do you hear me?
There we go.
That's it. You're back.
There we go.
Yeah, you're
I'm
back.
freezing.
You were.
Oh man,
You were.
I'm back.
You're okay now.
All right, sorry.
You're okay. You're
Damn it.
back, baby.
All
But
right.
I like the one
teenagers,
where the
yeah.
guy is in the. You saw the one where the guy buys the storage facility and then he
Yes, that's a
finds the
good
stuff
one.
inside. And
I think you've seen all the best ones, Sean, to be honest. The latter half isn't anywhere near as strong as the
Yeah.
first few. Yeah. My favourite was the rats,
Oh,
then
really?
probably that one you mentioned, and then one called, I think it was called Autopsy, possibly. That one's quite good.
Yes.
But the ones at the end were a bit weaker, I
Yeah.
think.
We haven't seen all of them yet, but I am curious. One of the directors did Tigers Are Not Afraid, and I really want to see that
Yes.
direct episode because I love Tigers Are Not Afraid. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet, but I want to. So
Oh, I wonder what one he did. Yeah, I love that movie too.
I do too. Oh God, it makes me cry. That's one of the few movies that made me bawl.
It's awesome.
The
Yes,
Graveyard
boy, the
Rats.
Graveyard Rats. That's it.
If you don't like rats, don't watch that episode.
I like rats, and it freaked
Freak
me
the hell
out. It's
out.
like, oh God, really?
Mm.
It's one of those that makes you shudder at the thought of it.
Yeah.
I know one thing. If you don't like rats, you don't want to play. What's that game? Darn, I can't. The thought reminds me. It's a video game that's out right now. It's a sequel. I think it's called a Plague's Innocence.
Yes, I've seen that on. I've seen
It's
people
a
play that
Plague's
on
Innocence.
YouTube.
It's based upon the Black Plague, where the
Right.
rats carried it on, and this basically about this sister and brother, and the brother has the ability to control rats.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So yeah. So if you don't like rats, you don't want to play that game.
I've seen it. I've seen a few people play it, but I haven't actually. I didn't know there were rats in it. I don't mind rats actually. Rats are okay as long as they're not wild rats that give me rabies. Then we're all right.
I had pet rats as a kid. That
Yeah.
probably surprises nobody.
No,
right.
that does not surprise me.
I like
Rats
them.
are lovely pet rats. They're so intelligent as well.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me when I
Hey,
started doing
Lisa.
my.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Monty.
Yeah, it's that when I was doing my horror films from the '70s. The first horror movie I reviewed was Willard, that came out in
Oh.
'71.
Great movie.
71.
Nice.
Yeah, don't know why my mother took me to go see that though, but
It blows my mind that you're able to take
Wow.
kids to see like 18 movies in America. I'm so jealous. Everything, whatever you get like an age rating on something in Ireland and the UK, and you cannot take a kid to see anything unless they're the age. You know what I mean? Like if it's a 15 or an 18, you can't take them to see it.
I didn't know that.
I ain't know
No.
it neither.
No, so anything that's like Isaac's 11, something as simple as Gremlins when it was released was a 15. He can't go to the cinema to see Gremlins because he's not
You
old
couldn't
enough.
even see
Ridiculous.
Gremlins.
No,
Wow.
because it's rated 15. I think they rated it in 2012 as a 12A. I don't know if you have that there. It means
we have it. I think because of that, and because of Raiders, was it Temple of Doom? They made the PG-13 rating because
right.
of those two movies, because of
That's-
Gremlins and because of Temple of Doom. Because
yeah.
of the
Your rating's like
Yeah.
more an advisory thing, isn't it? We
Yeah.
would suggest, but ours is like a legal thing, which is really frustrating. I mean, there's
I
so
did
many
not know.
movies.
yeah, I didn't know that neither. I thought it was like similar to ours.
No, you have to be like I can't bring Isaac to see anything that's 15 or 18. It has to be PGU or 12A because that's advisory, like 12 advisory. But if your parents are happy for you to watch it, then you can take them to see it. But 15s and 18s, no.
Mm.
It's like I
Wow.
hear people
Yeah,
like Jen. You took your son. Was it Halloween? You took him to see.
Yeah, yeah, and
And I'm like,
Well,
oh, you have to be able to do that. We
yeah,
can't-
yeah. Yeah, I did not know. Marty has not mentioned that to me. Jake's gonna have to enjoy that while he can. Of course, he's gonna be 15, so it. But still, yeah. Marty didn't mention that to me. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
It's a thing. Frustrating.
Yeah, because my mother, she took us to go see Willard. Then we went to go. She took us to go see Jaws. Great
Awesome. I took Isaac to see that recently because I think it's a 12A now over here. So we got to see that a few months ago.
Very cool.
Meow.
It's
Was
a zoo
that-
here.
I used to
Yeah,
just
pretty
sneak into the R-rated movies. I didn't care. You know?
Hey, that's what I did when I went to see The Exorcist. Me and my friends snuck in to go see it.
Oh, to
Yeah.
see The Exorcist in
I
the
go to
cinema.
see,
must
like,
have been
Oh, trust me. That and Carrie were the two most fascinating movie experience I saw at my young age. To see people actually faint and pass out and run out the theaters
Well, they did. That's true. They
Yeah,
actually did
they
that. Oh my
actually,
goodness.
when the first thing when seeing Reagan masturbate with the cross,
Oh, I hate
people
that
ran
bit.
out. People ran out. Her head turned around. People fainted.
That's
And
funny, that bit.
yeah, there's her head turned around. People, yeah, that was very very fascinating experience. And of course, the ending scene of Carrie when her arm comes out because you know
Yes.
we
Good
weren't
day.
really into jump scares at that, and when that hand came out, at least half the people screamed. Some people lost their popcorn, and some people just fell out. Some people just fell out laughing. So
That scene made my mum fall over. She was when in the days of VHS, she was on her like hands at hunkers we call it here, down like crouched down to switch
hmm
off the VHS at the end of Carrie, and
hmm
she didn't. She thought it was over, like when it really slows down, and she was putting her finger out to like get ready to stop it, and the hand shot out, so it made her fall on her bum. So that will always remind me. Carrie will always remind me of my mum falling over.
because you see the hand come out, and
The
that
thing
that
is, they
thun
never
and that
had anything like
that thundering music, and half the people screaming and shouting and going crazy, and
That makes it
me
better.
and my friends were like, oh, we just like, holy shit, and like, and then of course then we start laughing,
Yeah.
because I have morbid sense of humor, so no, growing up I did not watch Disney stuff. I watched horror movies.
I'm just right. You were too.
me too.
I was lucky that my
But
dad was
there
a
wasn't
massive
anything
horror
out
fan.
at that time that was so like crazy and intense. They did crazy, wild stuff in the '70s, but they never had anything like that realistic.
No,
Yeah.
no, because you had the hills, you had the Last House on the Left, you had I Spit on Your Grave, you had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you had all these ultra violent
Proper
movies,
brutal movies, yeah.
that came out during the '70s, but
Mm,
nothing as terrifying as when The Exorcist came out, and of course Carrie. You know,
mm.
Mhm.
I had to content myself with the old VHS of those when I was growing up, when my dad would rent them from the video store. That's how I saw all my horror movies growing up. He was a big fan,
Yeah.
so he would take me to the video shop on a Saturday night, and we'd take home. Stephen King was his favorite, so I saw all those. I think before anything else, all the Stephen King movies. So the thought of getting to see things like that in the cinema, I'd be like, oh, I would have loved to have. But alas, no.
But the VHS memories are kind of neat too, because my parents did the same. My mom did the same thing with me. It was a treat on the weekend to go get a couple movies. I was an only
Yeah.
child, so I got to pick out a few movies, and she was cool to let me see horror. So it's kind of a neat memory that these kids won't. We sound so old.
Yes, I hear myself say things like that too. It's awful.
It wasn't that long ago, guys. Really, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, my throat hurts.
Did you guys see that new show about Blockbuster Video on
Oh,
Netflix?
God.
Yeah, it's like a comedy, like sitcom with
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard
people
it's
wrecking the
terrible.
last blockbuster in the world.
Yeah, I
or
think it's
whatever.
on Netflix, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is.
Yeah,
hmm
I've heard
I've
bad
heard-
things about it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
It's goofy, but it's kind of funny. It's like nostalgia.
I watched about half of the first episode, and I didn't realize I was expecting it to be similar to that Superstore show, which I quite like. But I worked in a Blockbuster for a lot of years, and I managed one for a while, and it's just so not what it's like. I mean, they walked in, and there was the first episode. There were 2 customers in the shop and like 6 members of staff. It's like, in what Blockbuster are there 6 members of staff?
I know. I worked there too. We had like 2 people every night or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, oh, for goodness sake. I was really excited when I saw it pop up, and I thought, oh, this is going to take me back, but it didn't hit with me at all. I'm not sure what it was that was missing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
it was gonna take place like in like the '90s or something, but it's modern.
'cause from
So
what I understand, it's supposed to be about the last Blockbuster video store.
Right? Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I felt as though I thought it was going to be sort of nostalgic, but from what I understand, because even Lost in the Real said it's a total dud.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I
what
thought
I've
that as
heard.
well.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I've heard some people talk about 1899. I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet. Yeah, I've seen it
it
yet,
was
but a lot of
re-released.
people are saying it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
it's the writers of Dark, isn't it? I've been waiting
Um,
to see it. It just came out
I
here
believe so.
today,
Hmm.
so I'm going to check it out tomorrow evening. But apparently, you need to have your brain really switched on because it's quite moves over all over the place. It's a bit hard to follow if you're not concentrating. So I can't wait to watch it. I've been looking forward to it for weeks.
hmm.
Very cool.
uh, Another one I was gonna mention is, I mean, it's a limited series, but of course, Dahmer. You know about
Yes,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer. What'd you guys think of that one?
I really liked it. I feel awful saying that, but his performance was incredible. It was so good. It
Yeah.
made me like I was watching it and I thought I have to go and like see a Dahmer interview to see how close he is. And I paused it and went and watched a bit of an interview and I was just amazed by how close he got the demeanor, how he spoke, almost like that boring
Yeah.
drawl his voice has. I'm thinking surely he
Hmm.
wasn't that. You know what I mean? He wasn't that like nondescript and dull, but he was exactly like that. I
Yeah.
thought it was brilliant. Really, really good. Really impressed by it.
Yeah, I didn't see the show, but knowing how good of an actor Evan Peters is, I'm pretty sure he would get that monotone, flat,
Mm,
very non-effect, not affective voice that Dahmer speaks.
yep,
Dahmer
he did.
speaks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did a pretty
Definitely
good
did.
job of it because he's excellent in American Horror Story.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love him.
Hmm.
But it's the show itself is just very effective. You know, it's gets
Yep.
somebody's skin. It's like creepy. You know.
Yeah, it wasn't even with what it's about. It wasn't even like it's not brutal or it doesn't really show anything as such. It's more psychological, I thought,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
people
Exactly.
were complaining about it a lot. I don't know about in the US, but here people have been complaining a lot about it, saying it's sick, and they watched a bit and they switched it off, and it's really horrific. And I didn't think it was anywhere near as horrific as it could have been. I think they were
I
quite
know.
tame in how
Compared
they.
to all the stuff he did, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't really portray visually a lot of what he did. A lot of it was, you know, left to the imagination. So I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, because I really didn't hear a lot of it. I mean, obviously you're going to get most of the people, especially the victims, are going to complain about it.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising. But it
Yeah.
didn't get a lot of backlash here.
Mm.
As opposed to some of the other what are those? What's that director that does those terrible supposedly
Oh
true?
God, I hate that
Jen
director.
knows.
Yeah,
Jen
I know who
knows.
you're talking. I know. I can't think of his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking. He made the Ted Bundy, and then he made yeah, they're horrible. He even made one about O.J. Simpson, and oh my God, it's so bad. He made O.J. Simpson Freddy Krueger. He stole the bathtub scene. I shit you not, people, in the
Oh my
fucking
God.
O.J. true crime movie. He did it, and
Oh
I'm like,
no!
oh dude. Please.
Right, I'm glad I haven't seen that by the sound of things.
Oh no, you trust me. I haven't seen that one, but this particular director, for some reason, he's made these movies about real life trauma, whether it was Sharon Tate, O.J. Simpson, Arlene Warnos, Ted Bundy. For
Yes.
some reason, he's been doing that, and all of them are terrible.
And
Oh
he
dear.
couldn't care less about accuracy,
Oh
historical
no,
accuracy,
that's no
like
use.
whatsoever.
No,
Hmm.
no, I shall avoid those
Yeah.
like the plague.
Yeah.
I saw this Sharon Tate one. Oh my God, that's bad.
I've heard about that one being bad. I never checked it out. Dahmer versus the Mummy.
It's and that's why it's probably one of his better movies. Honestly, that's probably one of his better movies.
Uh,
Mm.
one of the better thriller horror shows that I saw actually came out earlier this year was on Showtime called Yellow Jackets.
Yes, that was excellent.
Yeah,
I
Mm.
Christina
started
Ricci,
watching
right?
I watched it because Juliette Lewis is
I
in it,
started
and I just love her. She's amazing. But it was such a good show, wasn't it?
Hmm.
It They are doing a season 2.
Yeah, I'll do a season 2. Yeah, but yeah, everyone did a fantastic job. I love the back and forth between the two time periods. All the characters in it, especially Christina Ricci.
She's the best character in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Who saw the Candy TV show that starred Jennifer View?
I did. I really liked it.
Watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed. I thought it was really good, and it was interesting. What I didn't know is that Joe Bob Briggs actually he co-authored a book with somebody else about the case. I did not know that. I was watching a documentary. I was like, that is kind of cool. So,
Yeah,
but the actual series was good.
Yeah, it was about this. Her name is Candy Montgomery, and she eventually killed her neighbor.
Oh yes. I didn't realize. Yes, I really enjoyed that.
She eventually wound up killing the neighbor when her neighbor confronted her for having an affair with her husband.
Yeah.
And she eventually killed her, but she got off.
Yeah.
What did you think about the style of how it was presented, that one? Because a lot of people didn't like the way it's quite tongue-in-cheek funny.
Yeah.
In places, a lot of people didn't like that for the subject matter. What did you think of that?
I didn't find it funny. I don't think that's not where Jennifer Beal was going with the show. I think she was just basically showing the character, because it's basically all about Candy Montgomery's character and how she eventually comes with the affair. Because you could tell based upon how she was quite bored in her marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounded like to me she was more she wanted some adventure in her marriage, and you can tell just by the conversation she had with her girlfriends, and she eventually winds up having an affair with her neighbor's husband.
Yeah.
Husband, yeah, but there's really, I don't think there was anything funny about it.
It was, the style was just really odd. It wasn't like played straight. It was quite flippant in places, just how it was. It's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt the style was not what you would expect for the subject matter. In places it was quite TV showy and odd. I don't even know what. I can't explain.
Yeah,
it had an odd style to it that it put a lot of people off watching it because they were expecting a very somber, serious, I don't know, like mood, and that's not how they felt when they watched it. I found it a bit abrasive at the start. I was a bit, oh, this feels a bit weird, but I stuck with it and I ended up really enjoying it. I thought it was excellent.
Oh yeah, because they're doing.
I enjoyed it too.
Go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead, Monty. I'm sorry. Oh no, I just was gonna say I really enjoyed it too. I see what you mean, but it was a different style. But that's kind of what drew you in. It wasn't your typical like Lifetime movie. They were kind of giving it a breath of fresh air. But on the other hand, I can understand if like you knew someone that died or was a family member or a friend, it might come off as a little insensitive. So I can see both sides of the coin. That's a hard truth when you're doing hard true crime. Is you got to remember these were actual people that people loved and people knew and was family. So it's always a hard line to walk.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even doing YouTube videos. True crime's one of my big interests, but you make the tiniest little mistake, even in pronouncing someone's name, or you get something a tiny bit wrong about something. Oh my God.
That's
why it's been so long since I've done a true crime video. Yeah, it takes me so long to actually try and research. Somebody once said to me, did you not actually sit down and read all of the court transcripts? And I thought, well, no, I didn't, because I'm only having a bit of chat. Like, no, I didn't, but it takes so long to try and get all the information and make sure you've got it right before it's like, oh Jesus. So you have to be so careful with true crime stuff. But I'm going to get back.
Really good. I've watched some of your videos.
Yeah, because I watched some of your videos, and then you do a fantastic job in presenting it, and it's kind of I understand why some people might get mad, or might say, well, you left this out of it. Hey, what's up, Full Moon?
Hey, Moon.
They get mad because I know one of my Twitter friends. She is a true crime writer, and she makes sure she does everything from when I read her blogs. And when she tries to explain some of the true crime that she covers, and I'm pretty sure she gets lots of hate mail, because if she misses one particular point, they go at her.
It's serious. Some people can be really vitriolic. It's not good. So I tend not even to read the comments now. If I do a video about true crime, I don't even read my comments, which is awful, but oh no, just some people just I need subtitles is another one. That was interesting. You need subtitles on your videos. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Well, you speak perfect
Wow.
English.
Yeah,
God.
you speak better than I do, Lisa. But really,
Oh, no. God, I want to get back to it because it's interesting.
agree with me on that.
I mean, you speak better English than some people that are Americans.
No, I would no. Jen, you did a video
You talk
on
real pretty, Lisa. Real pretty.
the what?
You do. You talk real. You do. I love listening.
We actually
to how you
did a
talk.
show on true crime a couple months ago. Remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True crime films.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, I would totally butcher making a bit because I can't pronounce anything right. Yeah, one of the things I've done
Neither can I, Kelly.
is making sure that if I have a hard time trying to pronounce a name, I actually go to YouTube and try to make sure I pronounce it correctly.
I do that as well. Pronunciation. How do we say this? But then you do your video and you forget it, and you pronounce it wrong anyway, and it's like, oh God.
I get mad at myself sometimes though when I watch it back. I'm like, damn it, I got that wrong, you know. Like
yeah, I do too.
Just the other day I did one and I got it wrong. I'm like, son of a, I know someone's gonna call me out on this.
Because the actor that plays Namor in the Black Panther movie, he's got a hard name to pronounce, so I had to make sure I pronounced that right before I made my video.
You have to be careful. Once I did a video where I called someone Neil Tennant the whole way through the thing, and it was David Tennant. Neil Tennant in a British like pop group. So I'm talking about David Tennant as in Doctor Who, and someone got so offended in the comments they went crazy. But I did it the whole way through the video. Neil Tennant. No, it was David Tennant. Oh God.
Oh boy.
No. Professional as I am not.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Texan pronunciation's awesome, Kelly. I love the Texan accent. It's so warm. It's such a friendly accent.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, how about we talk about some of our favorite classic horror-based TV series? Some of your favorite, like of all time, you know. How about you, Lisa? Why don't you start us off?
I've got a couple written down. I'm not going to be good in this because I haven't seen lots of older ones. Well, Twilight Zone is obviously my favorite. The original one, not the old version. Tales from the Crypt, I loved as a kid. Is that considered old? I don't know.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, like 80s, wasn't it?
Outer Limits is another one. And we had one in the UK called Tales of the Unexpected, which I quite liked when I was a kid. So, but my favorite's Twilight Zone.
Ooh, I don't know that one.
I love Twilight Zone.
What's your favorite episode of the Twilight Zone? Do you have a favorite?
It's awful, and it's one of the most well-known ones. There's two, and everyone says this. The one with the gremlin on the wing of the plane. I know everyone says it, but I love that one.
That's my favorite one.
William
There's one
Shatner.
where, yes. There's one where they all wear masks during the thing, and the sort of you know the way there's always a little twist at the end. It's like they can't get the masks off at the end because they're representing on the outside how they are as people on the inside. So they've got these really offensive, ugly masks on. I loved just the messages they always give you at the end, you know, like the things that really made you think, the little speechy bit at the end. So yeah, Twilight Zone I adore. Absolutely love it.
Great.
When I was a kid growing up, when I watched the old Outer Limits, I always loved the code opening. There's nothing wrong with your TV set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling the transmission.
That's awesome. Everything about Twilight Zone, how it was presented, is just brilliant. I love it.
You're about to experience the awe and mysteries that reaches from your inner mind to the outer limits.
Did anybody ever go on the ride in Florida? The Tower of Terror, where they do all that at the beginning?
I did.
Oh my God. Scared them.
Yeah, I went on that.
Mhm.
Oh, never again.
Good stuff.
It's awful.
Oh man, that was great. Now, obviously,
Well,
one
you
one of
stole mine. That's my favorite of all time.
What's
Mhm.
that?
The Twilight Zone is my favorite of all time.
Is it? Right.
the
Oh, sorry.
Upside Dan.
Dan's awesome. Dan's lovely.
Uh, yeah, one of my favorite anthology shows I grew up watching was The Night Gallery with Rod Sterling. Probably
Ah,
after he did the Twilight Zone, he did The Night Gallery, and it had an awesome theme song that I loved it. Loved it too.
Never heard of that one either. Let's get that on the list.
yeah, it's a good show. Good one.
I'll not be leaving my house for watching TV shows. The first one on the list is Interview with the Vampire. I wonder why.
Mhm.
You'll love it. You'll thank me, Lisa. I promise.
Yes, I think I
Mhm.
maybe will from what you said.
Yeah, 'cause, he had the Night Gallery. Obviously, Kojak, the Night Stalker.
Mhm.
That was awesome. Loved Darren McGavin in that particular film, and of course, the best show on TV ever, The X Files.
Yes,
Ah,
yes,
yeah.
I did love that too.
Can't get anything better. The second best show was Fringe.
I have
I
not
haven't
seen
seen
that.
that
Heard of
one.
it.
Yeah, Friends. I consider that the second best show, and that's probably. And if it wasn't for the Exiles, it wouldn't probably have Fringe. Um, why can't I get his name? His name escapes me. John Noble. John Noble. I'm pretty sure you know who he is. John Noble. He plays. He's a great British actor.
Me and names, it's not good. What's he
He,
in?
he was in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh god, I don't like those movies. That's
Oh,
I've only seen the first one, and it bored me so much I didn't watch any of the others.
okay.
That's horrible.
So if you're not in the fantasy, I can't. I'm trying to think. Was he? I have to see what other movies he might have been. He was in because he's been around for a while.
What's his
But
name?
John Noble.
John Noble. Let's have a look.
Yeah, he's a great. Actually, I didn't know he was Australian. I thought he was British.
Right.
Yeah, but he's been in a lot of movies. But
He's a Severance.
the character he plays, Walter, is so fascinating. It just cracks you up at how he portrays Walter in French. He's the best reason why I love that show. I love that show.
What's
And,
that show about, Monty Fringe?
it's about his character Walter and an FBI person. I think her name is Anna, and then his son. They they sort of like investigate these weird happenings, almost like an X Files like show.
Oh, right. On the
Yeah.
list.
Uh-huh.
Dear me.
Yeah, okay, but he's like an eccentric scientist. Eventually, we find out that Leonard Nimoy he actually guest stars on the show. I think on the season finale, and then there's one fantastic episode where he takes mushrooms, and then it goes into animation style, and it's fantastic.
Awesome. I shall check that out. Sounds
Trippy.
right up my alley.
Mhm.
That's a bit rude.
Very cool.
I don't consider Unsolved Mysteries horror.
I love that show. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you
just
guys.
good
I mean,
stories.
That
though.
as a kid.
It's a great
Yeah.
show, but I really don't consider that horror. I never really did. Robert Stack was great in narrating it though, but I don't consider that horror.
Anything like that is just I could watch for hours all day. I just
Hmm
unsolved mysteries or that kind like FBI files, forensic files, all that stuff all day long. Love it.
Yeah.
About the Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's really good. Anthology from the 80s.
Man lives
Yeah.
in the sunlit world in what he believes to be reality, but unseen by nos. I forgot how the rest of it goes. A place that is not it's just as real, but not as brightly
Not
lit.
so brightly
Lit.
lit.
Brightly lit. A
Lit.
dark side.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Mhm.
It's good.
Yeah, Kelly,
My
you got
favorite
it.
It's kind of like
episode
the Twilight Zone in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
Twilight Zone and Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits. And of course, he also made a movie, Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Debbie Harry was in it.
Yeah, she was in it. Yeah, yeah, Kelly, you gotta finish Fringe. Fringe. It ends on a nice note.
Yes, yes. Simpsons Halloween episodes.
Hmm.
That's where I first. This is ridiculous. My favorite poem of all time is "The Raven" by Edgar Allan Poe, and
Hmm.
one of the first times I heard it was on The Simpsons many, many years ago, and I'm like, "What is this? This is awesome!" And I looked up the actual proper, the thing,
Hmm.
but that episode I love. I think it's fabulous.
Good one.
How about you, Jen? What are some of your favorite old school horror series?
Probably my favorite, and this is a one I definitely say got me on my horror path, and it was played on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and it's Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Oh my God, did
I was
I?
gonna
I
say
was like
that.
4 and 5 and 6, and I loved Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and I loved this droll, the sense of humor and the little comedic skits at the beginning. And my favorite one, I remember this very vividly when I was a little kid, and I saw it like at midnight because I was always a kid who had sleeping problems, and I saw an episode where a woman or her husband's going to leave her for a younger, prettier woman, and she literally goes crazy. And so she takes it really calmly, and as he's about to leave, she hits him with a leg of lamb, and then to get rid of the body, she cooks him up and feeds him to the cops that's
Well,
looking for him. And little
I remember
Joe was
that
like,
episode.
"Oh
That
my
was funny.
God."
I
Lamb
remember that
in
episode. That was
water, I
good.
believe is what it was called. And oh my God, that just turned something in little Jen's brain. And like I watched it religiously. And it really is very like there's a coziness to that, because when you watch it, you think this is so classy, just the way people dress and people speak and
Yeah.
just the way it is. It's a very cozy kind of show about murder. And you can see some really big stars of the day like Art Carney and Bob Newhart
Yeah.
when they were still relatively young. And it's a treasure trove, and it's not one that gets talked about as much. And I think it's just as good as something like Twilight Zone and some of your other more beloved shows. But I
Oh
always
yeah,
think that's one that should get a little bit more love, and you
yeah,
should definitely check them out. There's really
yeah,
great episodes.
Yeah.
yeah. Because there's another episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents where this robber goes into this woman's house and um, he holds her up. And then, unfortunately, when the cops come, he doesn't know that she's deaf. She couldn't hear.
Yeah,
I need to watch some of those.
Mhm.
they're great. They're great.
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah, I just remember in another show that John Noble was on. It was a TV show called Sleepy Hollow. Fantastic, fantastic. I really loved that. Really loved that show, and he was great. Of course, he was obvious, but then almost anything that John Noble does is great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very cool. And I think Tales from the Crypt is another one. Christian and I are doing a retrospective, and they still hold up as good as when I was a kid. Sometimes you go back to stuff you watch when you were a kid, and it doesn't hold up quite as well. Tales from the Crypt still holds up really well, and they don't have very many, but there are a couple really more serious episodes that still pack a punch. And then there's ones that are just fun and funny, and there's a good mix of them. And I think that's another one that like people should revisit because it's a masterful show.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
love it.
Sorry, Drum
I,
Smash. I
al-
was
I
too, I
always
was
loved that one of the first ones with Lance Henriksen when they're playing poker and then he like chops his hand off.
Yes,
Cutting cards. Cutting
I love
cards. That's
that.
good.
Cutting cards. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's classic.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Sorry,
the one
Drum
with the
Smash.
guys in the desert and the vultures like chasing him around, waiting for him to
Oh yeah,
die off so they can peck his eye out.
that was funny.
And the vulture's like helping him and taking him to his death, basically. It's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, Drum Smasher. I was too old when Afraid of the Dark came out.
I haven't seen that one either.
It's an
Yeah,
anthology
oh.
show for I think at the time for like maybe teenagers, 13
Yeah.
to 15 years old.
Yeah.
It's like sort of like an alternative to Goosebumps.
Yeah. It was kind of for older
Ah,
kids.
Hmm.
I shall look that up. Full Moon. Thank you very much,
Hmm.
Jeff Castellucci.
The Raven.
Oh, I love it. It's such a wonderful piece of writing. It's just really weird that I first heard it on The Simpsons, which is a bit
Yeah,
daft. But
you're not the first person who said that because I've read The Raven prior to The Simpsons coming out, and a lot of people have said to me and come up that they really didn't know what it was until I
yeah,
actually saw that Simpsons episode.
yeah, same here.
Mhm.
I got one from Monty, and bet you've seen this one. The Hammer House of Horror
Oh yeah.
TV series. I like that one. That was pretty good. It was cool seeing some of the stars from some of the movies being like the TV episodes, like Peter Cushing and
Yeah.
John Carson and stuff.
My husband mentioned that one when I was saying about what TV shows he liked, and he mentioned Hammer House of Horror. I don't like Hammer. I'm sorry, I know you love it, Sean, but it's not my favorite thing. But he loves all that sort of thing. He's a massive Vincent Price, and who's the other one that's all with Peter Cushing?
Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Christopher. He loves all those guys, so he's a fan of Hammer House of Horror.
Hmm.
It is a good one.
Now, next up, I'll throw you guys for a little bit of a loop. What are some of your favorite sci-fi TV series?
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
I'm trying to think of any sci-fi TV shows.
Not a
Give me-
Trekkie? You're not a Trekkie?
Oh no. No. It's definitely not. I'm trying to think of any. I'm not a fan of
There's like
sci-fi.
500 Star Wars shows.
No.
I'm not.
I've seen the movies, but not the TV shows.
Oh, I got plenty of them. I mean, first of all, you got Logan's Run. They made a TV show out of that
Right,
based
classic,
upon the movie. Sort of kept it sort of the same as far as the premise of the show that the movie was. As far as the movie was concerned, they just made a little changes. Logan goes on a run once he finds out that people are actually dying at the age of 30, but he actually goes out into the wasteland trying to find sanctuary, as opposed to the movie ended a little bit different. And then in the TV show, he actually gets his android companion, and they travel on this sort of like this air thing. They're nice TV show.
Good stuff.
And
Would the
of course,
X-Files not be sci-fi?
yeah, that's sci-fi. And of course, who can't forget
$6 Million Man.
Yeah.
and the Bionic Woman.
Yeah. I watched both of them.
Yeah. Favorite shows growing up during the 70s. Yeah, the $6 Million Man was actually based on a novel called Cyborg. I don't remember who wrote it though, but that's what it was based on.
Is Quantum Leap sci-fi?
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
say
it's
it is.
sci-fi.
That's
Yeah, and
my-
it's
Time travel. Yeah.
favorite. Oh, I love it.
Good show, man.
If you do you get the new show out there in
Yes,
I've heard
watched.
it's awful.
I've
I've
watched
heard-
the first 4 episodes, and I just had to give up. Just in a vain hope that Scott Bakula or Bakula, however it's pronounced, would pop up at some stage, and because they do refer to his character, but
Yeah, I know.
no, it's not. I just wasn't liking it. I'm such a massive fan of the original series. It just wasn't even a patch on it, so I gave up after 4 episodes. I wanted to give up after 1, but I stuck with it for 4. And then, the characters were all really weak. I thought. I just didn't. You know when you just don't care about the characters, I just wasn't invested at all.
Mm.
I get that. I've heard it's bad. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard
I haven't seen it yet because I really wasn't a fan of the original show, but some of the shows I watched, I understand why people loved it because I think maybe because of Scott Bakula and Dean Thompson, their characters were so great together. That's why everyone loved the show.
Yeah.
I know some people didn't like the fact they were remaking it, but I said that's what they do now. They remake movies and they remake TV shows.
Yeah. It's just no good. I was hoping it would be hope against hope. It would be awesome, but no, it's very weak.
I'm surprised no one has not mentioned Supernatural yet.
Oh God, yeah, I like Supernatural. Yeah.
Have you seen the Winchesters yet?
I haven't because I haven't watched the last season of Supernatural yet. I
Oh.
binged almost all of it because I was really late to watching it,
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the like advertising for the Winchesters, and I can see somebody's missing, and it's like, oh, please, have they killed off this character? So I'm trying to avoid everything about it till I get to the end of.
Then I won't mention anything about it. I'll just say so far it seems to be because I didn't get really into the supernatural. Like everyone's been telling me to get into supernatural. I know Auntie Creeps was really a fan of supernatural. She's trying to get me to watch it. And then sometimes when I try to binge watch it, and I can see why everyone loves it because it kind of reminds me of a male version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Dean and Sam. You know, because that's what the show reminds me of.
Yeah. It's very similar style, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you go, I actually do know some sci-fi TV shows. I didn't even think of that one.
Yes, yeah. Fan of Doctor Who?
No.
No,
Doctor Who.
I'm not either. I'm not either.
It's just always felt a little bit silly to me. I don't know. It isn't scary. And it just seems to be like a kid's show. That's how I've seen it.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
Marty couldn't talk
when I was a kid.
Yeah, Marty couldn't talk you into enjoying Doctor Who, Jen?
Neither Marty nor Christian. No, not my bag. But I do have a show. It's not sci-fi, but it is technically supernatural and horror that I don't think anyone else will mention, but I'll mention later on before we end. There is one show I do want to talk about that you guys, I'm going to have a hard time selling to you. Lisa might be down for it, but you guys are going to go, this is bullshit, Jen. You're fired, Jen. When's Christian coming back, Jen? So, yeah. But I have a show that I want to sell you guys on. I've talked about it before, actually.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, because it's amazing because when I first saw Doctor Who, it was on here in the States on PBS. And it was during the Tom Baker run. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. At the time, I really didn't know that much about Doctor Who or how long it had been. I just knew it was a BBC show. And it aired in London. Somehow we got it here. And then I found out all about the backstory. And it's one of the longest running shows in British TV history. And it's still going on strong now. No, of course.
It's something.
Obviously, when they decide to make the Doctor a female, everyone started going crazy.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Like, not just her, but the what they're doing next. I know a lot of big fans aren't very happy about the last incarnation and then what's going to be next.
Yeah, so I had no problem with the female Doctor. I thought she did okay. I didn't like the fact is that they tried to create some new enemies for her and not bring back some of the old Doctor Who enemies. They eventually do after I think in the second season, second season when she was on it, they actually bring back some of the Doctor's old enemies onto it after they complained about the first season, and of course they bring back his old nemesis, the Master, and then he regenerates with this new guy. And then when she finally decided to end the season, now they have an African-American actor being the new Doctor, and that's getting backlash.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch them. I did watch it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Who was this is my memory's terrible. The guy with the really curly hair, like
Colin Baker.
Yeah, that's what I watched.
He was like, I like that sort of era.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that David Tennant was quite good from what I hear.
Oh yeah, he was great. I think he's the second most popular Doctor than Tom Baker.
Yeah, well, Tom Baker would be who I would think of as Doctor Who, but that shows my age, doesn't it? But I haven't watched it since
by an angel. I didn't think of that.
Very young. Touched by an angel.
Yeah, Touched by an Angel is more supernatural than sci-fi.
I don't think I've seen that either.
I was so disappointed. I thought they were talking about something totally different.
Jen, behave, Jen.
I've been pretty good, but day coming when I was like, "Ooh, touched by an angel," and I'm like, "Oh,
that sounds hot." That's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall when you and Marty meet for the first time. You're going to give the poor lad a heart attack.
I think
Oh,
Marty's
man.
worried about this.
I know. I told Marty that too. I said, Marty, I feel you when you and Jen finally meet in person. Oh yeah, I was meant to say, did you see Prey, Lisa?
Prey, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really
Yeah.
liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I've
me
seen.
too.
I've seen the first Predator movie. I actually preferred it to Predator. That's probably not a very good consensus, but when I
Wow.
watched Predator, I was quite old. I didn't see it as a kid, so like like the big rubber gloves, like and stuff, the effects. It's like, oh no, I don't know. I just never got on board with it, but I did really enjoy Prey. Thought it was
Mm.
excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a really cool way to do it, totally different
Hmm.
setting anyway,
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
What do you guys one that was always a favorite of mine as a kid was the Incredible Hulk show with
Oh
the
yes.
Oh yeah.
Ferrigno.
Oh, why did you not think of that? That music, the
Well,
Don't make
music.
me angry, Mister. You wouldn't like me if I'm angry.
That's still my favorite Hulk to this day, even with all the CGI and crap today. I
I
just like the
agree.
stories. I like the acting. I like Bill Bixby.
I forgot about that one. I loved that show. The end always made me feel really sad. That and The Littlest
Yeah.
Hobo, I always felt really sad when the dog ran away at the end. It's the same with the Hulk when he walked into the distance and that music was like, oh, I
Yeah.
always felt really sad, but I loved it. I loved it.
How about you, Jen? What was the one you were gonna? What were
Okay,
you gonna say?
It's not sci-fi because that's not my area, but I do have a supernatural show that ran for many years. It was a soap opera. It had supernatural dolls and witches, and it's called Passions. And just stop. Don't just stop. It's awesome. And we have it's a soap opera, so we have characters that are in love, but they find out they're brother and sister. And then you have Julian Crane, and then you have deals with the devil and witchcraft and zombies and a priest that loses his sight, but at the end of the show he gets his sight back because he goes to hell and it gets his sight back. Yay! And there's a whole thing with Ethan, Teresa, and Gwen. It's a big love triangle, and babies get in wrong bodies. It's amazing. Guys, check out Passions. I'm telling you, you won't lose your bro cards. You'll be totally hot dudes. Your wife will be like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, Passions.
You enjoyed this.
Soap opera, and it's wacky.
I love your
But
enthusiasm,
it's
Jen.
really
You know what? I had a feeling you were going to say that because even though I never saw the show, I heard everyone talking about Passions. They kind of called it the Dark Shadows of. I think when it came out during the '90s.
Right, okay.
I think it's
The
when it came
90s
out
and
during the '90s. They
2000s,
called it
yes.
the Dark Shadows of the '90s.
I was gonna
But
say that's
Yes,
how I
and a
always
witch
saw
is
Dark
cool.
Shadows as kind of a soap opera.
yeah,
with
Dark Shadows was a
vampires
soap
or
opera. Yeah, as a soap
Yeah,
opera.
it
Because when
was.
I
But
first,
this is better, Sean, because go ahead, Monty. I'm sorry.
when I first heard of Dark Shadows, I didn't know it was a soap opera. I thought it was just a horror show. But then my mother said, no, that's a soap opera. Because at the time,
Mm-hmm.
me being a young kid, I really had no interest in soap operas. Because
Yeah.
especially during the summertime, my mother would watch all her soap operas, and I said, "Oh God, I can't stand these damn things."
No, but you guys have got to see it. And there's a whole subplot where a brother and sister, they were separated and they didn't know he was an orphan, and he comes back to town and he falls in love with his sister. He almost falls in love with his younger sister, but then he gets the hot for his older sister. They don't know it at the time. And there's this whole big plot, and a witch is telling the whole story, and she has a ventriloquist doll, but he actually is real. And there's serial killer clowns. There's a whole season of a serial killer clown, and Beth has the hots for this cop, and it has this great theme song that's "You Are My Passions for Life." It's fucking balls, guys. Check it out. It's amazing.
As a matter of
Sounds
fact,
like
I
fun.
actually, yeah, I know. I said she's either going to say Passions or Charmed. That's why because it's going to be one of those two shows.
Charm.
Christian's
Oh
a fan
God.
of Charles.
yeah. Charm, the first Charm, not the other Charm, but the first Charm that had um oh boy,
Alyssa
Lisa Mil-
Milano and all that.
Miss Milano,
Yeah.
Miss Milano,
Yeah.
what's the other? Can't remember.
Sarah Michelle Gellar? Is it
No, that's Buffy.
Buffy?
Shannon
I'm thinking
Doherty
about
was on at the beginning.
Shannon Doherty,
Shannon
yeah.
Doherty was on it, and Holly Marie Combs. And then after Shannon Doherty got kicked out, the other her half sister came on, and I can't remember her name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll come to me. I thought you would talk about. I thought you were talking about Charm, but I think it's gonna be that or Passions.
No, the Charmed is too high class. More, this is the one that like Passions
High
is
class.
dirty and- yeah, that's the high class one. No, Passions is not high class. It's not good theater, but oh my god, Lisa, give it a try. I think there might be some. The first few episodes are on YouTube. Give it a try. It's
Right, I shall.
crazy.
I shall. Well, if nothing else, to
And
hear
you
that
guys-
wonderful theme tune.
Yeah, who are my passions for life? It's awesome. It'll get stuck in your head. You guys, I'm Sean and Monty. You guys have to see at least. Give it a try. Give it a try.
I might give
Sean's
it a try.
quite convinced.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah, Trash Stash mentions Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks was awesome. Yeah, I love
Yes.
that.
That's a weird one.
I could never get into Twin Peaks.
Oh, I remember loving that. That's quite a while ago as well.
Mm.
Christian loves that.
They did
Mm.
they did a kind of a reboot recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
Fire Walk with Me, right? The
Yes.
movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Hulk did not talk in the Hulk TV show.
No. He never even said Hulk smash even.
No, he didn't even say Hulk smash.
No,
No, he just roared. Roar and
isn't it
just
crazy that like he's probably the best? It's like Christopher Reeves and Superman. Like even
Yeah,
with all these new like effects, Christopher Reeves will always be, well, for me, be the best Superman. And it's like I'll always look at, is it Lou Ferrigno
yeah, Lou Ferrigno. Yes.
as Hulk?
Yeah.
Even though they had no dialogue. Well, he had no dialogue, but yeah, maybe it's just like what you grew up with or what you saw when you were a kid that always sort of sticks with you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Rose McGowan.
but it played so well on the the monster within kind of thing with Bill
Mhm.
Bixby as David
Hey,
Banner.
what's up, Movie Massacre?
He had to move from place to place because you get in trouble, wreck shit.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
that.
Movie
What is
Massacre, what's
so
up?
on Hulk? Gangsters.
Cavill
Cavill
might
is the
be the
sexiest Superman.
be the sexiest.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But no one does remember the good old fashioned George Reeves.
No.
Yeah, the old TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Superman I grew up with.
Was he before Christopher Reeves?
Yeah, he was way before Christopher
Oh
Reeve.
my
Yeah.
god, I never
George
know.
Reeves.
That
That
was
was like
that
in
was
the
a Superman.
50s.
Yeah, 50s. Yeah,
Right,
The
okay.
50s or 40s even.
yeah. I think it was the 50s. The 50s because
think so.
they were all in black and white.
Right.
Yeah.
I never seen those.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. What you can expect out of that out in the 50s.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a lot of special effects stuff.
You're not gonna get a lot of great practical effects. Because you can tell when he's
Brings
flying. Go ahead.
Which brings to mind my all-time favorite Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
They may not have had great special effects back then, but what they relied on was the storytelling was what's so great about it to me, and the acting, the characters, and it's so colorful and creative.
Mhm.
I just love the original Star Trek. Like, I'm only a Trekkie in the sense of the original series. I don't really go too far outside of that.
But you didn't like the Next Generation?
Yeah, I liked it for what it was.
Never
like the next
was
one?
never was big on it. No,
Deep Space Nine,
it's all right.
Voyager.
Never got into them.
No.
Picard?
We're married.
Engage.
Eh, eh. I'm a Kirk guy.
Well, you can tell I'm a Trekkie. I'm gonna check. Yeah,
I think the
love.
reboot movies. The what do you think of those, Monty? The reboot series with Chris
I
Pine and all them.
I had no problem with the first reboot. It's the second one. Was In Darkness was a full
Yeah,
blown copy of Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, or the actual Khan storyline from the original and the movie. They just
but they
reverse.
tried to say that it wasn't. Remember when they were marketing it?
Yeah, they were trying to say it
They
wasn't,
tried
but
to play it off like it
if you
wasn't.
seen yeah, if you saw the TV show where Ricardo Montalban stars as Khan, and then you see the Wrath of Khan, and then you see Star Trek Into Darkness, you can tell it's coming right from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that they do role reversals and Into Darkness.
Like when Kirk's trapped in the ventilator shaft or whatever,
Hmm.
and Spock's on the other side.
God. And no offense to uh, Benjamin Cumberbatch, because he plays the role well. I have no problem with him.
Yeah,
It's
he was
just
good. I mean,
he was good in the role, but it's like it's just like that's. I'm thinking when I see him do that, I'm thinking Ricardo Montalban. I'm not thinking.
I thought the third one, Beyond, they were trying to be more like the TV show in a way. You know what I mean? Like telling kind of a
Yeah,
smaller scale story.
yeah, it was okay. It was okay, and it wasn't bad. Better than Into Darkness, trying to
Mm.
give it. I guess, when they heard all the flack that Into Darkness got, so they said, "I think we better create our own story and not borrow from the original or the movies. Let's just give these characters their own story." That's why I thought that was a little
Yeah.
better, a little better. Not nothing real home to write out about, but.
But when it comes to the movies, Wrath of Khan is my favorite of the
Hmm.
movies for sure.
Oh yeah.
You can't get a better villain than Khan. And what's
Yeah.
great is they didn't even have any scenes together. Him and Kirk never had any scenes together,
Hmm.
but they still make it so captivating. Just going the ship to ship, seeing them on the screen and in each other's ships.
I know that is fascinating because they don't have any scenes together.
Yeah, they just build the tension, through the acting. Yeah, great stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course, Star Wars. I mean, classic. How can you deny the greatness of the original Star Wars? At least those are my favorite. The
Hmm.
original
So,
trilogy.
Lisa, are you a fan of the prequels or the the what do you
Star
call
Trek.
it? No, Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. I watched the movies. I haven't seen any of the like spin-off shows or anything. I like all of them, to be honest.
Even
The
the prequels.
the earlier ones are obviously the better ones, the
Hmm.
original three.
Yeah.
But I don't get as offended by the later ones as everyone else seems to. I think they're okay. I've quite every my husband and my son are crazy about Star Wars, so every movie that comes out, we have to go see it at the cinema. And I've never not enjoyed one. I've enjoyed all of them, but I
Hmm.
prefer the original three.
Hmm.
Oh no, I'll tell you one that I don't like. The one with Jar Jar Binks in it. I don't like that one. Everyone likes that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no one likes Jar Jar Banks.
No one likes it.
No.
No
I
one.
spent that movie laughing in the cinema. I went with a friend that's a massive sci-fi fan and fan of Star Wars, and he was so irritated at me laughing through this whole film. And that's my I just found it hilarious. I thought Jar Jar Binks, I couldn't believe how ridiculous it all was, and he was not very happy at me for ruining his watching of Star Wars. Taking this thing seriously that I thought was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Uh, I mean,
So
what do you expect?
goofy.
What do you expect? I mean, he was a goofy character. He did goofy things, and I guess he kind of distracted from some aspects of the movie.
Yeah, he did. Oh, it
I mean,
just, I don't know, it just seemed an odd character. You know what I mean? Most of the movies
I
have
think,
got like a seriousness about them, but you can't take that seriously.
mm-mm.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
thought that was the most like a kids, straight up kids movie. Like,
because I
at
mean
least
the
they
one,
got kind of darker in the third one there.
yeah, because obviously the pod race definitely George Lucas borrowed that from the chariot race in Ben Hur.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he gets chariot race, and of course, obviously one of the best lightsaber fight scenes between Ben Kenobi, and Darth Maul and Qui Gon Jinn. I thought that's one of the best lightsaber fights.
That was cool. That's the only part I like, really. When they're going through the different rooms and,
Mhm.
like the red sensor comes down. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Still not a fan, Jen?
I can't say anything because I literally my first experience with Star Wars will be this Christmas. Marty and Christian are going to make me watch the Christmas special. I've never seen
Oh
any of
my
the movies.
god, that's what you're
I've
gonna
never-
start off with?
That's what you're going to start off with?
Yeah, that's
You
what
know what?
Marty and Christian want me to do.
The holiday special?
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
no, 'cause
God.
you won't watch the rest if you watch that. You'll get, no, I don't like this. I'm not watching the rest. You want to
Oh
start
no!
with
If
the
you're gonna
originals.
if you're gonna watch anything, at least watch the original Star Wars. Watch that first.
They want me to do it this way, so I'm like, okay, because I've never seen any of the movies. Now Christian and Jake love it and everything, but I've never, it's never been something that's really interested me. I'm not a sci-fi person that much, so it never has. So they think it'll be really funny. They think it'll be a first watching to do the Christmas special. And I've heard things. I've never seen it, but I've heard things, and I know Art Carney's in it a lot. I like Art Carney.
Even B. Arthur is in it.
Yeah. I knew that. And Christian is always, whenever he's cooking, he's doing whip stir. And he says, I'll finally understand why he does that while cooking. So there's that.
I still
But
can't
Marty,
even
I'm
believe
getting
it
my
happened.
payback
It
with
actually
Marty.
happened.
Yeah. I'm getting my payback with Marty, though, because he has to watch Flowers in the Attic before we do it. So
That's good. I like that.
I know, but most men don't. They don't. Like, I've told Marty the premise. He's like, oh, God, Jen, no.
I really like
There's
that.
nothing wrong with flowers
I
in
do
the
too.
attic. There's nothing wrong with flowers in the attic. I've seen it and I enjoyed it because I read the book before I saw the movie. So
Have you read all the books in the series?
no,
or
I
just
haven't read
the
I haven't read all the books. I just read the first one.
It gets good.
Yeah, Movie
so-
Massacre. I did actually like that one, Obi-Wan series.
Which ones he's talking about?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Oh, the Obi-Wan.
series.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like the final episode where he and Darth Vader have another fight.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Do you think they're maybe in danger of doing what Marvel have done and just making too many offshoots and sort of like oversaturating it? You know what I mean? It just seems there's like always a new show coming out attached to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because
it's-
I did not see the Andor one.
no, neither did I.
I didn't see that one. I haven't heard anyone talk about that one. I saw the Obi-Wan one. I haven't seen any of them. The Mandalorian. Though my brother, he loves it. He loves
I
it. He always talks.
started that and
I haven't
didn't
seen
really
that
like
one, but my brother, he's been raving about that one because everyone talks about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, my husband and son really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I just wasn't a big fan. And I haven't watched any of the others, really. I think it's just a bit overkill now. There's too much. It's like Marvel. There's just too many series has been released. It's just getting a bit boring.
Yeah.
We need to cut back a bit and make us wait for, like, you know, when we used to wait for a new, like, Marvel movie, you'd be really excited because, you know, you haven't had one in
Yeah.
ages and now we're getting tons of them and they're not as good a quality as they once were either.
And then these Disney shows are like, meh.
Yeah.
I really haven't minded any of the Marvel TV shows. I really enjoyed the What If episodes. I thought those were fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but they look interesting.
Oh yeah, they definitely are very fantastic. Really like that. Really like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought She-Hulk was pretty okay. Really enjoyed the Hawkeye TV series. Definitely loved the Loki TV series, and
Yeah.
WandaVision was fantastic.
That's the only one I've watched was WandaVision. I
Yeah,
haven't watched any of them.
WandaVision was
Yeah.
fantastic. It
I
really
thought that was
drives
good. Yeah.
home the Elizabeth Olsen really does a fantastic job as Wanda, and it really brings her character in focus. It kind of plays into what her character becomes in the Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange. Yeah.
in the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I wouldn't say you would have to see WandaVision to understand her motivations, but you would kind of need to watch it to understand her motivations in the movie.
Mm. It
Mhm.
fleshes it out for you for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, have
Uh,
you heard, Monty, about? I just heard this today. Actually, that they're gonna introduce the X-Men in the upcoming Secret Wars, but it's gonna be the Fox version of X-Men, and they're gonna kind of give them like a send off, I guess, before they get to the rebooted version.
I I've heard some of that from what Kevin Feige is saving is that he's saving the because it's going to take a while to get the casting done. Um, More than likely, you're probably going to see because with the multiverse saga that's playing on right now with Phase Five. With Phase Four was over with the end of the Black Panther, and Phase Five is going to start the multiverse
Right.
saga, and that's why you're going to see Hugh Jackman once again playing Wolverine in the Deadpool movie. And we might see Halle Berry again as Storm in some part of this multiverse saga. Probably a cameo appearance, not a full starring role. And yeah, because that's what he's thinking about what he's going to do with the X-Men now that they got the the rights back to the X-Men. Yeah, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to do it and do it because I
Yeah.
know that the animated series is coming out next year. Coming out next year.
Which is gonna continue the old school cartoon from the
Yeah,
90s, right?
it's gonna pick off right where the animated series ended off several years ago.
Cool.
That should be cool.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, yeah, I heard Kelsey Grammer wants in as Beast. He wants to be Beast as well. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. He's kind of old. He's kind of old now.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you're right.
he's getting up there.
Oh, Full Moon wants you to watch Firefly, Jen.
Christian's, it's one of his
I want
favorite
to see
shows.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
Christian
want to
loves
see
that
like
show.
full blown Rogue, like the comic book. Like maybe even see Anna Paquin as like the full blown Rogue, like the comic book.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they would have to recast that role if you want to see
Yeah.
Rogue from the comic books as opposed to how they do a character in the movies. And
I
they
suppose
would
they'll
have to
do a whole new
they had to
rebooted
do something
version.
totally different as opposed to how she's portrayed in the comic books. Because in the comics, she gets her powers from absorbing Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel's character, too much, and that's how
Mm.
she gets her powers. So of course now Karen Danvers is Captain Marvel, not Ms. Marvel. So they're gonna have to do something totally different.
Mm. Should be interesting.
Yeah, should be interesting. Yeah, you didn't your son want to see Black Panther,
All right.
Jen?
He wants to. We haven't taken him yet, but I've heard it's really good. Marty did a review, and I've heard a few other people say that it's really good, and it's a nice tribute. I've heard it's a really nice tribute.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, because we went. Kelly and I went to go see it last weekend, and yeah, definitely will have some sad eyes in the audience. You know, because it's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
my say it's basically a tribute to not only to King T'Challa the character, but to Chadwick Boseman
Mm.
movie.
I've heard the credits
I've
are
heard-
quite. You do something at the beginning. I heard in the credits that's quite moving. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
you
it
do.
yet.
Yeah, you do something in the beginning that's quite moving, and
Yeah.
and I won't mention the mid credit scenes, but you'll probably will have a good time at the mid credit scene in the movie.
Yeah, my son's seen it. He went to see it at a
Mm.
birthday party last week, but I haven't seen it yet. But I
Yeah.
want to.
What was you about to say, Sean?
I like that they introduced Namor
Oh, he froze again.
Don't they?
Oh no.
Didn't they introduce Namor in the
Yeah,
new
yeah.
Black Panther
He's
movie?
his character is way different as he is in the comics, mainly because I think Ryan
Oh,
Coogler
really?
and Kevin Feige decided not to have him be so similar to Aquaman, because both Namor
Um,
and Aquaman, Arthur Curry, they have similar origins in the comics. They both have human and Atlantean parents. As I think with Namor, it's his mother is Atlantean, his father is human, and I think it's the same way with Aquaman in the comics here. His mother is Atlantean, his father is human too. So I think Kevin Feige decided not to make him so similar as his comic book origins. He still has the same powers, and he still have his ankle wings, so he can fly. But his backstory is totally different as opposed to in the comics. Yeah, because obviously people who don't know Namor from the comics will probably say, "Damn, they're copying Aquaman."
shall we answer Movie Massacre's question?
What powers would you want if you could be a member of the X-Men? I would have invisibility, wear no clothes, and get drunk. That fits Movie Massacre.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Do
How are
it
you
too.
supposed to follow that up? Like, no.
Uh-oh. I could hear Jen's mind going right now.
Yeah, no clue. But then say I would want Marty to see me, so I guess not invisibility because I'd want Marty to see me. Hi, Ben.
Well, flight, Jen, flight. Then you could fly to Ireland.
No. Hey, Ben.
Yes,
Teleportation.
Yeah.
yeah. Marty's like, no, Lisa, no. Don't give her ideas. I've told him I'll get a grappling hook and just like because he's got a balcony and I'll just climb up his balcony and go, hi.
Oh no, she found me.
I have his address. I send him stuff all the time. I have his address. That was a
Here, don't
mistake.
tell him. Just show up.
Yeah, that's
He
surprising.
We'll have teleportation. I want teleportation as mine, and Jen can have it too. And we can just go wherever we want, when we want. That would be great.
That would be cool.
I wish I could think of something as interesting as wearing no clothes and vomiting, but I can't. Oh dear me! I'm just wondering what happens when you need to go to the loo. I'm getting all kinds of pictures that I don't want to be getting.
Or you could be like the Invisible Man. You can wear no clothes, but no one will see you anyways.
Yeah. I actually did like how they incorporated Mayan culture into his backstory. I thought it was pretty fascinating. And I like the underwater city that they have him in. It's totally different than how Atlantis is in Aquaman. It's murky, but it's still beautiful and it's colorful with the Mayan colors in it.
Cool.
The Mayan colors in it. So yeah, so I thought they did a fantastic job. I thought that Brian did a fantastic job how they filmed it. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely totally different. So I appreciate why they did it because they didn't want people to think that they're copying off of Aquaman because of Aquaman's success.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot for people who don't read the comics, that's what they'll be
Yeah,
saying.
but I hadn't heard of Namor.
Yeah.
Because I haven't read the comics yet.
Hmm. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Namor first came out in the 40s.
I think it came out first. Yeah, it came out like
I think it came out
40s,
first
yeah.
before Aquaman was created because he wasn't Namor. He wasn't a Marvel character. I think he came out in Timely Comics. If I got
Yeah,
my
even before like Captain
even before-
America back in the day.
yeah, because I think Captain America came out and then they came out Namor and came out before then, and then the actual Human Torch character was an android.
Okay.
Back during the early days of comics, and then
Yeah.
later on, I think right after DC first came out with Batman, Superman, and eventually they created Aquaman, but Namor was already out.
Mm.
Mhm.
Jubilee. I still haven't really had. I mean, I had little tiny appearances of Jubilee in the original series. There,
Yeah,
it would be cool to see a full blown Jubilee in there.
I think Max would say that. Captain America's not the sexiest man alive. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
Chris
Yeah,
Evans.
it's true.
Yeah, Chris Evans won that award. Yeah,
What's that? Has the actor won that an award or something?
yeah, Chris Evans. People magazine has the sexiest man alive, and Chris Evans.
Right. Okay. Is
Yeah.
Chris Evans
This
still in
year, yeah.
Captain America? I thought he wasn't.
No, after Endgame, he stopped playing the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he won Sexiest Man Alive.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and Bill Skarsgård's in the world without his clown makeup, guys. That he was wrong. Damn it. Barbarian has made me look at Bill Skarsgård in a whole new light.
Now, see, if you saw Endgame, you'd probably change your mind.
I don't think so. I have discovered, because Christian and I were sitting there on the couch, and I was like, God dang it, Spooky, that is a shame. All that makeup's on his face. I mean, I was like, hello, Mr. Skarsgård. I don't care that he might be a serial killer. Like that sheet scene was just so endearing. I was like, wee.
That's sexy killer clown.
Yeah. I mean, he's not as sexy as Art, just in a different way. You know what I mean?
Did you see Terrifier 2 yet, Lisa?
I did. I am a massive fan of Art. I love him. I just think as a horror character, he's like, to me, one of the just fantastic new horror icons. And I really like both movies, but I think he's what I watch it for. If it was another character, I wouldn't be as invested, but I just think he's perfect. I absolutely love him. I think he's great. The fact he doesn't speak as well, and I find him really, really creepy.
Yeah. You know, he's
I gotta
going to
see
be
that.
the Grinch. He's going to be the Grinch. They're doing a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
The
seen
horror
it.
version.
Awesome. Yep. I am there for that.
Me
100%.
too.
Nice.
And David Howard Thornton is such a nice guy.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, there's a few horror YouTubers have actually interviewed him. He's agreed to come on and be interviewed, and I don't mean big like massive channels. You know, just average channels, and he's really, really nice. When someone I know asked him to record like a 5-second couple of sentences, it was something for his video, and he did it. I mean, like, oh my god,
Sounds like Deborah Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've interviewed Deborah Voorhees a couple of times, and she's very gracious.
yeah,
And
it's
She
awesome.
definitely loves our horror fans.
that's awesome. It's
Sure.
nice when they sort of appreciate the people that put them where they are. I suppose that are watching all the movies and buying all the movies. So, yeah, awesome.
We gotta try and get him on, huh? The David Howard Thornton.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great to get him on.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy, really, really nice.
What do you think about the kill and Tara? Did it beat this?
I was expecting, because I'd watched a couple of reviews before I watched it, people said they thought it went too far, and I was expecting it to be much worse than it was. I thought the
Me
Saw
too.
kill is the worst kill, well, best kill. It's the most,
Best.
to me, graphic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the one in the second one was, it sounds awful when you say I really enjoyed it, but you know what I mean? The effects, and it was amazing. I didn't think it was too much. I didn't think it was awful, or it wouldn't make me switch it off like some people said it was too much. I really enjoyed it, but
Yeah, that was the problem I had, because people were saying that this goes way up. This is very wild and gory, and while it doesn't top the Saw kill in the first one.
No.
I mean, yeah,
that
we
was
get
shocking.
some very gory kills in this one. I think the favorite one that I saw was Art stabbing the dude in his genitals.
Yeah,
that was a funny one.
That's
Oh, I
the
love how it's funny. I love how he's so funny. It's so brutal. It's so, you're watching this thinking, oh my god, and he's hilarious. And I think it works so well. I love it.
I was
But yeah,
for them to top off the breastfeeding scene, though. I was like, where is the breastfeeding scene? Where are they gonna, from the first one? Because because of course Jen loved that. I love that, do you know a mother's love? And and even he's looking at her like, wow. I love that scene so much. It was so fun. I don't care. I liked it. Judge me all you lot.
Well, well, it sure was well received. Like, it got great reviews. Like,
Yeah, it got great. Yeah, it got great reviews. I just thought that the film was about 20 minutes too long.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
too.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
yeah,
But I love the little girl. I love the little
Haven't
clown
seen
girl.
it.
Yeah, everyone loves the girl. Yeah, because she was creepy as hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So sweet.
Movie Massacres interviewed him, he says.
Mm.
I've seen a few people interview him. It's just so accessible, which you don't expect with it being
Yeah.
so successful. You do expect not, but he's a really nice bloke.
It's always nice when they can do an interview with like us small timers, you know.
Yeah. I think he realizes and appreciates that it's, Terrifier's never going to be a mainstream movie because most people don't want to watch something that extreme. It sounds weird saying it because I don't think it's that extreme, but it's people like us that's watching it, isn't it? It's like hardcore horror fans that want to watch this kind of thing. It's never going to do
Right.
well in the cinema for the masses.
Another YouTuber, her name is Susan, and she asked me about Terrifier and Terrifier 2. I said, no, that movie's too extreme for you because she's not a real horror fan like we are. And she asked me about it. I said, no, I think that movie's a bit too extreme for you, especially the first one. She just said,
Yeah.
because she'll sit down and watch movies with her mother and her father, and
Ooh,
if she puts that movie on, I told her, I said, no.
She'll be going, what is wrong with that man? He told me to watch this. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, and she said, Monty, what the hell's your problem? Why you make me watch that movie with my mother? I was so embarrassed.
But me and Christian watch movies together, and we're mother and son.
Yeah, and you're different.
We're not most mothers.
No,
Not
no,
exactly like the typical mom and son.
No, I did not like the supernatural side of it. I had no problem with. I think she was the only good thing about it, as far as any of the other actors concerned, besides David Gordon Howard. But yeah, the Laura Levy, I think her name is Lauren something. Yeah, she's the only good thing I liked about the film. Although I kind of thought the supernatural side of it it didn't explain it right. I thought Damien Leone should have did a better job in explaining the supernatural side of it.
Yeah,
I think it detracted from me from the rest of the movie. I think just the idea of Art being just a ruthless, brutal son of a bitch is more terrifying than the idea of there being. I know they sort of hinted at a supernatural in the first one, but I'd have preferred them to leave the supernatural element out. But I loved the final girl. I thought she was fantastic. I want to see more of her, definitely.
The thorn coat.
The what?
The thorn coat.
The thorn
Like
coat?
the Halloween movies.
Like the
the
Halloween
Oh, the
vibes.
thorn coat. Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Christian had a problem. Christian
ahead,
had
Jen.
a problem with the father making her the sexy outfit. Like, he's like, it was fine, but he's like, why would a father? It didn't bother. Of course, it didn't bother me. But Christian was like, why did he make it so sexy? It bothered him. He's like, why? Didn't bother me. I was like, yeah, he's proud of his daughter. Show us your good, sweet. But Christian that bothered him.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming maybe it wasn't so revealing when he first thought about from his daughter. I don't know. I don't know if that was the case, but then she just made it revealing. I mean, not too revealing, but it's like
Maybe sex it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she might have sexed up a little bit.
It was cool though. It was
Uh-huh.
something different, wasn't it?
It
Yeah.
was very cool. It was very cool. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, so some stuff's
So guys, I have one last topic to discuss with you guys. And that's what are some other films that you would like to see like adapted to a TV series like they're doing with Friday 13th kind of thing?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, right. I've one right away. Saw. I want to see a Saw series with just increasingly worse traps. It's the like thought that goes into the traps that I like. It's the increasingly brutal ways you can kill people, and can they escape from it that intrigues me. So I would love to see a Saw series.
Nice.
So now, are you going to make a costume for Christian next review?
I've been trying to get him into some sexier stuff. I'm like, you got a great body, kid. Show it off. He's such a prude, I swear.
Don't know where we got that.
Yeah, terrible mother to exploit your son like that. Shame on you, kid.
I told him, Monty, think of the views. If nothing else, think of the views. Don't you love your
Uh,
mother? Such an ungrateful son.
People be
what I
hitting
would
that
love,
like button, boy.
I know.
He'll dance for you if you donate.
And what I would love to see is I would love to see a TV show of the Underworld series, because that series has such great mythology, and you can do a whole lot of stories with that mythology. And I would love to see a TV show based on the Underworld film series. I mean, you can recast it, everything. You can either start back from the beginning, where we actually will see the three elders, the Victor, Marcus, and Amelia, how they become the elders, how they decide to become, how they see Victor scheming to be, so that way he takes all the power. We get to see how Celine becomes a vampire and the death dealer. We get to see Lucian becomes Lycan again. There's so much depth they can go in a TV show with Underworld film series. You know, it's just how are you going to make the practical effects, because it probably could be very expensive to make.
Good choice.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jen?
A sleepaway camp series I would like to kind of do, especially like getting a backstory, because we got a hint like in the first film with the father and his relationships and the crazy aunt. I think there's a lot you could do with it, and maybe tone it down on the comedic elements and really do a deep dive into this family's history, because I think there's a lot you could play around with mental illness and some other topics in the show. Hey, that's a good. I might use that, Moon. I might use that.
Don't give Jen any ideas, fool.
Whoa,
She
that's
would
a
try
good
it.
idea. Thank you, Moon. Well, I'm thinking of it right now.
Oh no! Then you're gonna kill Sean's channel.
Speaking of full moon,
Yeah.
That does have a ring to it. You guys got to admit that. That's a ring. You tune in. You all would click that button.
Oh dear me.
Oh boy.
Christian's going to kill all of you, by the way, when he watches it.
Oh man, I could see my wife Kelly right now. She says, "Monty, what's that woman?" No, Lamont. She calls me Lamont. Lamont, what's that woman being naked on the show?
What are you watching?
What are you watching? Are you
Oh,
watching
that's
porn?
her son, by
What
the
is
way.
the
Yeah, that
what is the
metaphor.
Oh, no, it's fine, dear. It's a wholesome mother and son channel.
to be rated TV MA?
Oh.
I could see that, Jen. Though I think that could be an interesting show, though. You could do a lot with that.
I think it could be too, because there's a lot of ideas that we never really revisited from the first one that you could play around with, and even the second one too. And you could, with all the topics that are going on in today's world, you could really do a good show and make some interesting messages. And I'm not saying make it woke. I'm just saying to have an interesting discussion and dialogue about some current topics. Now, I think it'd be a really interesting backstory.
Yeah, I know you can get that actor that's playing Glinda to represent play that character on for Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, he could be Angela.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do a lot. You could do a lot, and just the family dynamic as it. Well, I think it'd be an interesting show. I think there's a lot you could do with it that hasn't been. God knows, Return to Sleepaway Camp didn't touch on any of those things. Fucking dogs. Never have I wanted to go through a TV screen so much and just hit that kid. And usually I have sympathy for the oddballs, but I was like, somebody please get the shit out of this asshole right now. Please.
You didn't see that one, Lisa?
Cake.
No.
Oh no! Don't.
Don't bother.
Don't-
Not
yes,
missing
I
anything.
think.
No.
That Pumpkinhead?
I agree.
Pumpkinhead.
Movie Massacre. I could not get around to seeing those characters recast from Back to the
Fantastic.
Future. It's an awesome
Oh, yeah.
premise, but nobody else can play Marty McFly. No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't see anyone playing Marty McFly or Doc.
Or don't know. I wouldn't want to see it either.
Mm-mm.
Such a perfect movie though. The first one, Back to the Future. It's like a perfect.
No, yeah, a friend of mine, he actually did a review of the trilogy, and it just reminded me. I see that's the perfect trilogy film series because you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's it.
And then they left it alone. Yeah.
And left alone because there's nothing else to do with the whole series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
True. Tarantino said that recently that he thinks Back to the Future is one of the perfect movies of all time. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That surprises me that Tarantino likes Back to the Future. There you go.
Yeah.
Hmm?
He said it's a perfect movie.
It is. He's right. 2 band-aids and a microphone, Jen, for you and Christian from Full Moon.
What if we need a few more band-aids? Or
Yeah,
am
I
I going to be...
You're going to need a couple of bigger band-aids. I think we need a bigger band-aid.
I can hear Marty just going, "God damn it, Jen."
Oh God damn it, Jen, you're killing me, woman.
Yep.
That was quite an impressive impersonation.
I hear it a lot, Lisa. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, Marty says a lot, so you can easy get it.
Yeah, it is the Parkinson's is really
Yeah, it's
Really
really
getting
starting
to
to
him.
mess with him. Yeah.
It is sad.
my
Mm,
mother had it, so I know what that's all
Wow.
about.
mm.
It's a horrible disease.
It is.
Yeah. So my pick, of course, knowing me, would be Halloween. Halloween season. It's gonna be Tales of Haddonfield, and you could do all the different things that all the fans talk about. They wanted to see, like
Hmm.
if you want to see more
Like the
anthology
Thorn
stuff, throw that in there. If you want to see Jamie Lloyd is the killer, throw that in there. If you want to see more Corey, you could throw that in there.
No corn, Jen.
Corn cult, you can throw
No corn,
that.
Jen.
Lots of possibilities. See more
That would
Dr.
be,
Loomis,
I kid around, that would
maybe.
be good.
Yes,
Yeah.
more Dr. Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
Could you even have other characters? Like, because he works in the psychiatric hospital, could you even have more characters that escape and kill people? Like, more killers
Yeah,
than,
why not?
you know what I mean? That would be awesome.
You'd see him dealing with other patients other than Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Movie Massacre says the tales of my boy Corey Cunningham.
Yeah.
I liked Corey Cunningham. I did.
Yeah, I had no problem with
Something
him.
that
Living
could-
in a sewer?
Something that could appeal to every Halloween fan, because I'll have every couple all ground,
Even the episode Michael getting his driver's license.
Fans would love that.
Yeah, we finally find out how he learned to drive.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing very well last night.
Yeah.
He was doing very well last night.
Someone around him gave him lessons.
He drove around the parking lot 5 times.
I always like that about 5 too, like how he he drives again. Nobody ever talks about that, but I thought that was cool how he drove again.
Mhm.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly likes the sound of that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Any other series you think could work? They've done. They already
Misery.
did Freddy.
Misery.
You want to do a
Misery.
TV?
Misery.
I don't know if you. I don't know if you could do a TV show about misery.
You could do maybe like a shorter one. You could maybe, and again, you could do like the backstory of Annie Wilkes, because in the book it touches on how she murdered a lot more people than just there's a lot
Yeah,
of stuff you could have.
Maybe-
like
It's a
almost
that-
like people.
That I could see a limited series. Yeah, I could see a limited series where you could probably do like maybe a 10-episode limited series of misery.
I love that,
you
that movie
yeah.
so much.
where
I
you
do
can
too.
actually.
They kind of
where you
did it in the Castle Rock show, didn't they?
Yeah, they did talk about Annie Wilkes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was Bill Skarsgård not in that as well?
that's what I've heard. I'm
He's
going
in
to
there,
watch
yeah.
it. I have a thing for the Skarsgård.
I don't think I've heard anybody say that yet. That Halloween Ends is the best Halloween movie. Wow.
No, I actually no.
I've heard a few people.
I've heard a couple of people mention it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's my joint second, and the other one people don't like. The third one. The third one's the one that's not really got any relation to the rest, isn't it? With the
Yeah,
mask?
the witch,
Season of
yeah,
the Witch,
yeah.
yeah.
I love that one. So I would
Christmas.
put that one and the new one as second, and obviously the original would be my favorite. But I really enjoyed the new one.
Yeah. I heard about they actually made a pilot episode of Carrie, but they it never got picked
Oh.
up.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. Make a TV show of
That
Carrie.
could be good. Yeah, that could be
You
interesting.
could go so much into the mother, how she was really like religious
That shit.
overload sort of thing. You could go massively into that. It would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a shame.
That would be. Pet Cemetery was another one you could do. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Mm.
Not like
I
the
could see
remake though, but from the book.
How about this one? I wasn't a huge fan, but most people are. Poltergeist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, that would be just my bread and butter. That I love anything spooky, like ghosty, paranormal. I absolutely love. So yes, I would
Yeah.
all day long. I would watch that.
Cool, yeah.
Would we do one in a high rise, Sean? Because I actually like part 3. I know that's like not a very hot, that's a hot. I like part 3.
I like them all.
You gotta bring back the creepy priest guy, whatever it is.
Oh,
What's his
Reverend Kane, the
Yeah.
scariest
God
part.
is
Do you
in this
know
holy
why?
temple.
Oh God, don't. Earthly thoughts be silent now. That guy that played him, I didn't know this because I was talking about him being, for me, one of the scariest ever characters. He had stomach cancer when he played that role, and he was dying. He was
Yes.
really, really ill, and that's why he has the gaunt sort of. I had no idea. I didn't know, but could anyone else play that character as creepy as he did?
I know, yeah, he was very creepy in that show.
He was
Yeah,
amazing.
I remember the Poltergeist TV show. It really had nothing to do with the movie at all. Well, but it was okay. I think I saw
didn't
the
know there
first-
was one.
Yeah, there was a Poltergeist TV show, but it had nothing to do with the movie.
Right. Friday the 13th prequel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they
Tremors
talked
was
about the
mentioned.
Tremors. And Kevin Bacon wanted to do it, but they didn't. Never fell through cracks, I guess.
That isn't
Yeah.
that crazy that they didn't. I mean, when you think Tremors, one of the first things you think is Kevin Bacon. Why would you not want Kevin
know, right?
Bacon?
Yeah, something to do. I think they almost had a deal in place, but it's something that had to do with sci-fi and the cost.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because Kevin Bacon, he
I'm
was
not
down for it.
surprised.
Do you have the mobile network EE over there? Like
No.
the cell phone?
No.
No.
My son refers to Kevin Bacon as the EE guy. That just makes me feel so old. He'll come on TV, he's doing an advert for like a cell phone company, and my son's like, "Oh yeah, the EE guy." I'm like, Kevin Bacon, wonderful actor for like the EE guy, like the phone guy in the advert. It's like, oh fucking hell. How old do I feel?
Footloose, he's showing Footloose.
Yeah, I don't think he'd like Footloose. He might like Tremors, but Footloose, no. Footloose is awesome.
The soundtrack alone, the soundtrack.
Yes.
I have it on vinyl. Oh my God, I'm old.
Many drunk wedding dancing have I done to Footloose. It's always played at weddings, isn't it? You just can't sit down and play that.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi made
Now I
a
really
pilot.
want to go to
Yeah, they made a pilot episode. You could see. I think it's still on YouTube. They made a trailer for it, but I think no, they took it down yet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember that was I think it was a talk last year.
Okay.
So last year or the year before, about when it was announced that Kevin Bacon was interested in doing a new TV show of Tremors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of you see that new horror with Kevin Bacon in as the camp counselor?
Oh, they slash them.
Yeah.
They or
it was
something like that.
terrible.
Yeah, it's they slash them.
Yeah.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
awful execution.
Yeah.
Interesting concept. I like the idea because it's something totally different. We haven't seen a slasher film, but it was poorly executed.
Exactly. I mean, I was really excited.
Christian and I liked it. Like, it had issues, but we actually kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah,
It wasn't perfect, but liked it.
Did the part with the singing of Pink not make you cringe a bit?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get why they sung it because they were trying to, try because of their lifestyle and what they were.
Yeah.
So I get the reason why they played the song, but it kind of distracted. It was kind of distracting. And then I get the reason why they put it in there, but they could have done without it.
It was cheesy, I thought. They could have done it in a more clever way. The thing is, I liked a lot of the characters. I was really invested in a lot of the characters, and I love Kevin Bacon, but for me, it just did not come together. It could have been awesome, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
The dog scene.
Yeah,
The dog scene.
Oh, wasn't that awful? No.
Oh, I know. Me too. It was like, oh,
No, I don't like that. You can kill as many people as you want, but leave the dogs alone. Thank you.
I know. I was like, no,
when that happened, I said, "Oh, a lot of people are going to get mad now. If they killed the dog."
Yeah.
It was such a cute dog too. He was living his best dog life.
Yes.
I liked some of the risks they took with it, but maybe they could I don't know, maybe they could have went further, but then they get all kind of backlash. I don't know.
No, like I said, the concept was decent. I like what they were trying to do. I had no problem. With the sex scenes that they were having in the particular film. It's just the fact that I thought the killer's motivation was lackluster, especially when the killer is revealed. I thought that was a bit lackluster at best. Like I said, it was just written. Well, just when written, the script wasn't very well. But all the characters I liked. I liked all the characters.
Yeah, me too.
Especially the actor that's playing Glenn Glenda on Chucky. Texas Chainsaw.
I finally watched Chucky the other day. It was pretty crazy. It's pretty nuts.
I was going to ask you, Monty, speaking of Chucky, do you think that this season has fallen down compared to the first season? I was curious to get your thoughts on that because I've heard a lot of people say they have a lot of issues with this season. I'm having fun with it. It's not as good as the first season, but I'm having fun with it.
It depends upon how the series is going to end, and I'll probably talk about that more when I see this how Don Mancini is going to end this season, because for me there are some pretty good episodes in here. The episode previous to this one, I thought that was very lackluster. I don't like what they're doing with Lexi this season. This season, it seems like they don't know what to do with the Lexi's character. It started off pretty good, but then now it's become a bit repetitive. It's like Okay, she's on pills. She's not. No,
Mhm.
she's still on pills. No, she's still on pills. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, and then when they finally do something great with her character and Nadine, then they kill Nadine off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are pissed about that. I thought this episode was really good, though. I thought it was very touching how we get the
Yeah,
afterlife
yeah,
scene.
this episode kind of make up for last week's episode, but I
Mhm.
really don't. It depends upon what happens in the season finale and how they're going to end the season. Then I can go on ahead and talk about it because I'll probably do what we did last year and probably have a live stream of you and Christian talk about this season of Chucky.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Yeah,
We would love to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
was just curious.
I'll probably DM you and let you know when that's going to be.
Cool. We'll be down for it.
Mhm.
Definitely be prepared to hear me go on at least like 10 minutes of how fucking hot Devin Sawa without the road car. Please.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
a hazard with work.
Just so long you don't strip because you ain't killing my channel.
You and your Brad Dourif get a room, will you?
Oh yeah, yay! They need to do it, Monty, where they have Brad Dourif take stuff off too. Yeah.
I don't think Brad Dourif. I don't think you want to take Brad Dourif take off his shirt.
I'd be okay with it.
He
That voice.
He probably have man boobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's getting up there.
He is, but that's okay. He's just and men age like fine wine. It's fine.
They do.
Yeah. So yeah, once I see the season finale and what's going to happen with all the characters in this show, and then they'll make me determine how good or not good season 2 was.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I've just heard a lot of people say they had issues with it. I was just wondering where you were at.
Yeah, who's ready to see the end of The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah, that's still a thing.
Well, now they're talking about the Michonne show, huh?
Yeah. They're Rick and Michonne. They're going to have their own show. I think sometime in 2024.
All right. Okay. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to end the show. It's obviously going to be totally different than how the comic book ended. But it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to end the show because we all know that Carol and Daryl, they're going to have their own show. Negan and
really?
they're going to have their own show. Negan and Maggie, they're going to have their own show.
That's the one I want to see.
Uh-huh.
Come on, how many spin-offs?
Anything with Negan in, I will watch. He's my favorite. I need to go back. I'm actually not caught up with The Walking Dead, so I've got a couple of seasons to watch. So I need to get on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way behind.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I think season 8, right after when they started doing the all-out war storyline from the comics, that's when the show went downhill.
Mm.
The show went downhill. A lot of people, most Walking Dead fans, blame Scott Gimple for the downfall of the show.
Mm.
And then when he finally decided not to be the EP and they got Angela Kang to be the showrunner, that's when it finally picked back up.
Yeah, I left off for quite a while and then I went back to it because everybody was talking about it again. But I need to watch the last couple of seasons.
I thought this final season, even though it's me 22 episodes is long, but they did a pretty good job because one of the things that they did was they made sure they included all the characters in the show and not just have, like, say we have some characters and we don't see them for the next 2 episodes, and then they focus on characters that are not as popular as some of the other characters are, and when we have filler episodes for the next two shows, and we finally get back to the main characters. So that was a huge problem that happened, especially during season 8 and 9.
Mm.
It'd be interesting. I might actually check it out. I haven't watched it since 7 seasons.
Yeah. Like I said, if you read the comics, they're at the part where they're at the Commonwealth, part of the comics. Obviously, there's some changes in it because in the comics, Rick is still alive, and Rick is still actually part of the community in the comics, as opposed to in TV show. He's not in a TV show anymore, you know. And Michonne, she's in Commonwealth in the comics, but she's not in this one. So there's some subtle changes that Robert Kirkman made as opposed to the TV show and the comics. He met Fiona at Crypticon. She laughed. The laugh she does in cosplay is her real laugh.
That's
Well,
awesome.
Kelly says Carol's not going to be on the spinoff.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet.
That might make me watch it if she's not in it. Her character just bores me. I don't know. It's just it's like my husband used to get really annoyed at what did you call Rick Grimes' son? Carl, was it?
Yeah, Carl.
Oh, he hated him. I don't know why. He just
Yeah,
had a real
Carl.
dislike for Carl.
Carl. Carl.
I just never liked Carl. I say those two words exactly the same. Carl and Carl. It sounds the same when it comes out of my mouth. Carl and
You
Carl.
Irish folks say it.
Yeah, I agree that the comic book is darker in some aspects of than the TV show. I think mainly when Scott Gimple took over as showrunner, I think that's where it lost some of the darkness in the TV show as opposed to comics. Because the comic books, yeah, there's a lot of things that is very darker in the comics. There are some aspects of the TV show that they couldn't do in the comics because it was just too dark, and you couldn't do that on TV, even on the cable show. But yeah, there's understand why they didn't do something in the comics. Felt they thought they get a lot of complaints due to the dark nature of things. Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why there's just some things in the comics they couldn't do in the TV show. It's just too dark.
Yep.
I was gonna
People
say,
do it.
Lisa, where I see you're very into the pop figures, huh?
Oh yes.
Funko
It-
Pop.
oh, I held off for years. I said I'm not buying these things because if I do, it's going to get out of control, and it's started to get out of control. I don't have any room,
Addicting. Huh?
and I've got tons more I want. So madness.
I saw one that I never thought I would get him, but then I saw the Slayer ones. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get that.
Yeah. There's always something
they
that
have,
pulls you in. And that's it.
Pantera one coming out. I saw the whole bands.
Yeah, I have the Queen ones and the Kiss ones, and I think they've got about 6 different ones of Freddie Mercury, and I must have them all. It's just ridiculous. I try not to start, but I've started, and now I can't stop. It's addictive.
Mhm.
I got Whitney Houston the other day because I'm a big Whitney Houston fan, and they had a pop of her, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this one.
Oh,
It's almost we're all suckers.
I take it you're going to see the Whitney Houston movie that's coming out.
Yes, Sparky promised me, like, I go, can we go? Because he's like, I don't know about this one because he thinks it looks very Oscar baity, which it probably will be, but I'm very interested to see it. I've read like the books. I've read the one her mother wrote. I've read the one the best friend wrote. I'm a Whitney file, so I'm a big fan. So.
Is it like a biography or something? I haven't heard.
It's a
Yes.
biopic.
Right.
Whitney Houston. I think her first 10 years in show business, because it starts off how she first got started, then how she became a phenomenal singer. That goes over her career. When she sung the national anthem at the 9/11. So I
Her
think
and Bobby Brown's relationship, I think it's going to touch on a bit.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Are you gonna
wanted
get
to
into
know.
that?
Yeah,
That's
talk
the
about-
main thing I wanted to know. Is it going to go into that? Because
yeah,
there's a lot there that will be difficult to put on screen.
because
There
I
Oh, go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
yeah,
Marty.
yeah. I don't think it's going to cover her whole career. I think it's going to cover, I think, maybe the first 10 years of her career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so that it might show some of her relationship with Bobby Brown, but not all of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of it's a bit X-rated, isn't it?
It is. See, he
I
gets
almost got
really
kicked
unfair. Like, it's not all like everyone blames him, but it's not that simple. Like what really wasn't that bad of a guy, actually. I've done a lot of research, and yeah, he played the bad boy, and he was bipolar, and he uses alcohol to self-medicate. But she was into the drugs long before Bobby ever entered the scene.
Yeah.
So that I always feel bad because he does get a bad rap on that.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people don't understand, because even before she met Bobby Brown, she was already into doing drugs. It's just that they just swept it under the rug and kept it quiet. Unfortunately, when when all of a sudden when she got married, everyone was shocked. What?
Yeah.
She married him? Bobby
Yeah.
Brown?
He let her life down the toilet.
Yeah, and everyone blamed him for her downfall. But no, she's just as much as blame as for her downfall than Bobby was.
She was sexually abused, or there were allegations that she was sexually abused as a child, and had a lot of it. Yeah, that's a lot of what they said happened with her.
Mm.
I don't know all the details. I might be interested in it.
It's good. She was an interesting person. It wasn't just that she was a phenomenal singer, but she was a very interesting person as well.
Oh yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
I saw the trailer for Avatar 2. It's not really exciting me though. I mean, the scenes look great, but I it's like Avatar 2. Okay, yeah, but it doesn't excite me. I mean, I'm going to see it because it's Avatar, but really doesn't excite me.
I don't
think I would have been as excited about it as I am now, having been on Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom. The ride where you're riding on the back of a banshee. Oh, I fell in love with that whole ride. It was amazing. And now I can't wait now for Avatar 2 because it sort of reignited. I'd sort of forgotten about Avatar. I liked it, I watched it, but it just reignited it all. So I cannot wait to see it.
Cool. Welcome to Derry I think it talks about Pennywise's first time into Derry and all the murders that take place. I think that's what Welcome to Derry is all about.
Right.
Movie Massacre.
Okay.
Is it gonna have Pennywise?
I think it's going to have Pennywise. I don't know if it's going to have Bill Scarsdale. I don't know how they're going to, because I haven't heard if he's going to be in the show or not. But I know that's what Welcome to Derry is all about.
Ian's not watching it. There's no Mr. Skarsgård.
If he does it, I have no interest.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be in the show or not, but I know that's what Welcome to Derry is.
Right. Pantera's touring with Zach Wilde, maybe playing guitar.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Interesting.
It's kind of controversial because how do you do Pantera without Dimebag?
Yeah.
It's more of a tribute kind of thing.
Yeah. They'll never come here anyway. No one ever, you probably hear Marty complain about this, no one ever tours in Ireland because it's too expensive for such a small island.
Mm-hmm.
So like the UK mainland, like London and all that, get all the gigs, but we get very few.
There's no actual stadiums in Ireland that you can have a concert in?
There are, yeah, but for bands to come, it's very expensive for them to bring all the equipment and the crew, just to play. Like they would usually just play Belfast and Dublin, and it's not worth it for them to pay the money for the flights to bring all their equipment. So is it
that expensive to fly to Ireland?
It's expensive. Trust me, I've looked.
No.
Yeah, well, for them to bring all their stage set up, the instruments, the crew, they think is it worth it for a couple of dates? So generally they just don't come, which is really frustrating.
Okay, I would find it a bit surprising. You would think, you have a lot of people from Ireland fans that want to go to Dublin or Belfast.
Most of us have to travel over to England if we want to see. There's a lot of bands that do come, but they would be the massive big bands like Iron Maiden and things like that.
Mm.
But if they're not like a massive...
Guns N' Roses recently played somewhere.
So like the large bands might come, but the sort of like older bands or middle of the road bands or smaller bands just don't come at all. I
Yeah,
know
I
it's
didn't
the
get
big
any like up and coming type
yeah.
bands. You know?
It's a pain. I lived in England for about 10 years and I saw so many concerts when I lived there, and I miss it so much now. I'm back here. It's like, oh, we just don't get half as many. But it would be interesting to see Pantera. I'd love to take my son to see Pantera. He would love that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jen, will you show
I could
off
see
your pop in
maybe
the
they
video?
might go to Ireland because
Yeah, they might.
it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, actually, Kelly, we are thinking because like I've acquired a few new posters and I've changed the room around a little bit. Christian was saying I should do like an updated room tour because things have changed in here a little bit. And I do keep my pops in here, and I've got horror pops, but then I've got some ones that are you guys are gonna go, really? Jen gets this, and then you're gonna go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, oh boy.
So yeah.
Yeah, Kelly
yeah,
wants to see your pops. That sounded rude. That sounded
Like
very rude.
freaking Michael Bolton.
Oh,
or
we already can see my never mind.
Just to let you know, that picture behind me is not my son. That's my godson. my son is 37 years old.
Oh, that's shocking. That's not right. You have very good genes, Monty. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, guys. On that note, shall we wrap it up?
Sure.
Yeah, God,
Been,
it's quarter
great.
to 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
yeah.
looked at the time. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I imagine it must be really rough for you.
I'll be up in
Yeah.
about 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Oh
Great.
man.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah, we bet. So good. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a long time. It's
thank
like
you for
old
having
home
me.
week having you back on the show here.
It's been lovely.
Oh yes, yes.
Thank you for everyone in the comments for
Be nice
keeping
to
us
have
company.
you on again sometime in the future.
Indeed.
Yes.
I'd love to.
Yes. Always love listening to your very nice Irish voice, Lisa.
Oh, get me on with Marty, and you'll not
Soothing
understand
to
a
the
word
ears.
either of us are saying.
Oh no. See, I really have fun because I would love to hear
We
both
don't
of you and
need
Marty talk.
subtitles.
When
Nope.
Irish people get together, they talk much faster, and they don't try and pronounce
yeah,
their words
yeah.
properly. It's just you wouldn't understand a word we were saying.
Yeah,
That
you
would be
should meet my
interesting.
cousin.
Yes,
my
yes,
cousins.
Ben. To answer your question, I am a real grandfather. Yes,
Yeah, Grandpa
my
Horror.
son has a son.
Oh.
That's because Queenie calls me Grandpa Horror. So
That's awful.
I like that. But yeah,
I
guys,
like that
another
idea of
great
you and
show.
yeah.
Another great show, guys. Great stream. Had a lot of fun. And yes, so thank you for joining us today, Lisa. Thank you, Jen, as always. Minus Christian, but we still love you.
Christian, please get well.
Yes,
Get well. Yeah,
Christian.
got to have you for the Chucky stream coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
Everybody
He'll
watch
be
that. Everybody watch.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monty G, as always. Great job, everybody. And thank you for joining us on the Horror Hangout live stream. And have a great night.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Peace out, guys.